Bob, I'm not on. There it is. This meeting is now called to order. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cloninger,
Here.
Mrs. Cons,
Here.
Mr. LaValle,
Here.
Mr. Salt,
Here.
Mr. Temby,
Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mr. Salt.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It is great hearing young voices sing the recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you all. That was great. All right, what we do first, and this is relatively new, is we have a spotlight, which is typically 2 schools. Can you all hear me? Is this on? Okay, just want to make sure it's on. The first is the Da Vinci Academy. There it is. Now I'm hearing myself much better. If you could all stay after you're done, Da Vinci Academy, we would like to shake your hands and have both schools after Rock Rimmon finishes. So if you all could just stick around. So Da Vinci Academy is Miss Heather Cloninger.
I'm totally prepared. So, the Da Vinci Academy is celebrating their 20th year anniversary this year. They are an arts integration school, which means they take an approach to teaching in which students construct and demonstrate understanding through an art form. Students engage in a creative process which connects an art form and another subject area and meets evolving objectives in both. The performance you will see tonight is a snippet from one of our classroom galleries, which is a prime example of their arts integration at work. Please welcome the wonderful principal, Ms. Sheehan Freeman Todd.
Thank you for having us tonight. This is new to me. I'm the new principal this year at the Da Vinci Academy. So coming to the board spotlight, this is an excellent way to feature our students. This is Mrs. Goldman's class. Just last night, they had their gallery at the school. Stand up. We would have brought the whole class, but we had to pare it down to just a few students. And Mrs. Goldman is here tonight. So please welcome the Da Vinci Academy. I'd like for them to perform for you their History of the Blues. This is a little snippet from what they did last night. And I don't want to fail to mention our wonderful encore team that's here to support.
Thank you for the opportunity to highlight our gallery. A gallery is an performance which is mostly student created. This is a chance for students to share information about what they have learned through performing the arts. Each grade level collaborates with encore teachers to select an academic concept for students to explore through drama, art, music, and movement. As a culminating experience, we invite our families to our gallery to show what we have learned.
That's right, Millie. Tonight we'll be performing excerpts from our different portions of our blues gallery. To begin our blues journey with Funga Lafia. This is a greeting song sung throughout parts of West Africa. It translates to, "We welcome you with open arms."
True, in peace and love, we welcome you. Funga Lafia, Ashe, Our fifth grade blues gallery is a timeline through the history of the blues music, beginning with field hollers and continuing through the Harlem Renaissance into the Cotton Club, all the way through contemporary blues and hip hop.
Students chose their characters and write their scripts as we learn about the history of blues, including beautiful moving spirituals like Wade in the Water.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God said he's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God to the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God said he's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Along the way, we highlight some of the most famous Americans in history, like Harriet Tubman and Peg Leg Joe. Hello, I'm Harriet Tubman. I was known as one of the best conductors on the Underground Railroad. One of my most common nicknames was the Moses of my people.
And I'm Peg Leg Joe. I was also a legendary conductor on the Underground Railroad. I was an abolitionist and helped create the song Follow the Drinking Gourd.
We learn how impactful blues music was, offering a glimmer of hope during times of sadness and oppression.
In addition, we learn the 12-bar blues and even write our own blues songs, like the famous Backwater Blues by Bessie Smith. When it rains 5 days and the sky turns dark as night. When it rains 5 days and the sky turns dark as night. There's trouble taking place in the lowlands at night. When it rains 5 days and the sky turns dark as night. When it rains 5 days and the sky turns dark as night. There's trouble taking place in the lowlands at night.
As our journey continues, we learn about contemporary blues and civil rights. Blues music was the mother of all music. Then we made our way into the Cotton Club, where cool cats like Ray Charles and Ella Fitzgerald would jive.
Hello, I am Ray Charles. I have been playing piano since I was 5. I've been playing music ever since. I was born on September 23rd, 1930. I created soul music by combining gospel, rhythm, blues, and jazz.
Hi there, I'm Ella Fitzgerald, and one of my accomplishments was creating several blues songs. With all the songs I wrote, I won 13 Grammy Awards. I was the first Black girl to win a Grammy Award.
We even learned how blues inspired tap dance. Tap dance originated in the early 19th century. Tap dance is a fusion of West African dances and Scottish, Irish, and English clog dances.
Oh yeah, and did you know that people would glue pennies into the soles of their shoes to create tap shoes? This was another way Black Americans could express themselves through music and dance. Then we head into contemporary blues with amazing artists like Aretha Franklin.
Hello, I'm Aretha Franklin, and I empowered women everywhere with my song Respect.
What you want, baby, I got it. What you need, do you know I got it? All I'm asking is for a little respect when you come home. Hey, baby, when you get home. I'm gonna do wrong. Why, God, I'm gonna do wrong. 'Cause I don't wanna. All I'm asking is for a little respect when you come home. Hey, baby, when you get home.
Blues truly impacted history.
It sure did, Millie. Thank you for joining us on our journey through the blues. We'd like to conclude with a famous quote from blues musician John Lee Hooker. The blues tells a story. Every line of the blues has a meaning.
Thank you. Thank you, Da Vinci Academy. Thank you. Thank you, Da Vinci Academy. There we go. I think that's better. Thank you, Da Vinci Academy. That was wonderful. Great, great work. Next one is Rock Rimmon Elementary. That is one of my schools. Rock Rimmon by the numbers. 52, believe it or not, the number of years that Rock Rimmon has been proudly serving elementary school students. It's 52 years old, the school. 76, the number of students in attendance when it opened in 1972. 400, the number of students today that Rock Rimmon proudly educates and inspires. 5, the number of principals that have led Rock Rimmon in its 52 years. This is Carrie Benia's 9th year as principal. In fact, I'm very good friends with the previous principal. Yeah, thank you, Carrie. She does great work. 2 to 12%. Rock Rimmon consistently scores in the top 2 to 12% of all Colorado elementary schools on all CMAS measures. 135, the number of hours in the past 2 years that each Rock Rimmon teacher has volunteered on their own time, summer, weekends, and evenings, for training in the science of reading in order to meet the needs of all learners. 45, the number of hours mandated by the state that each Rock Rimmon teacher has volunteered on their own time, summer, weekends, and evenings, for training in cultural and linguistic diversity in order to meet the needs of all learners. Number 3, the number of junior UN representatives here tonight to share with all of you. Please welcome Principal Carrie Benia.
I forgot to put 22, which is the number of years we've been in IB school, which is our identity, so I don't know how I missed that one. But we've been an IB, an International Baccalaureate School, for 22 years, And part of what we do with that is we have our junior UN, making sure that we give students a voice and choice and leadership opportunities. And so tonight I have 3 of our 5th grade junior UN representatives who are going to talk to you a little bit about what junior UN is and does. And then also they're going to talk about one of their newest projects that they started last spring. So with that, I'm going to introduce Kinley Price and Annabelle Anderson and Kyler Cannon. Come on up. Do we have a microphone for them? And then whoever is doing the slideshow, it switches with each speaker. So they'll give you the cue.
All about Rock Rimmon Junior UN. Junior UN is like our student council with an international focus. 4th and 5th grade students research a country of their choice, then interview with volunteers to represent the country in the Junior UN. We have various responsibilities. For example, Ronald McDonald House. Ronald McDonald House is a house where families can stay in while their kids are in the hospital. We raise pop tabs for them, so every pop tab is 1 penny. We raise over $600 per year. Lead the recycling efforts school-wide. We take our specials teachers, and help the kindergartners take the recycling bins down so we can recycle. Current events. Secretary General and Assistant Secretary General research current events and then share it with Junior UN ambassadors. And later in the year, we let all Junior UN ambassadors do it. Raise funds with Buck of Fun Day. Buck of Fun Day is a day where we can dress up, wear a hat, or bring something, and you can bring money to donate. Some of the ones we've done were Crazy Hair Day, Hat Day, Dress as a Teacher Day, Dress as a Character Day, and Dress as an Animal. At the end of the year, we select a charity to donate all this money to. Some of them are ABC School for Street Children in Dhaka, Kids on Bikes, Adoption Option, and Malala Fundraiser, where we help girls get educated. And we raise and lower the flag every day. Now, Annabelle Anderson will talk about what we have learned about flag etiquette to prepare for this responsibility.
Every year, Commander Hoekstra teaches us about how to respect the flag and U.S. flag etiquette. We learned that when a tragedy or loss happens in the country, the president or the governor can declare the flag to fly at half-mast, which is half up the flagpole. The flag cannot touch the ground, and people should not wear the flag. It does not respect it. And if it's flying at night, it should be well lit or have lights on it so it can be seen. The American flag also flies higher than the state flag because, it is hung. If it's hung vertically, the star should be in the top left corner. If it's upside down, it's a cry for help. So do it upside down. The flag shouldn't use the flag. You shouldn't use the flag in your company logo, but you can use the colors because if you use it, it doesn't show respect. If there's bad weather, it shouldn't fly or else it may be damaged. If the flag is old or tattered, you can donate it to an organization so it can be retired properly. Now, Kyler Cannon will share with you about flag duty. Ambassadors on flag duty volunteer to raise and lower the flag each morning and afternoon on certain days of the week. We come to school 15 minutes early and stay 15 minutes after school to raise, lower, and fold the flag. 3 students are on flag duty at a time to make sure it doesn't touch the ground. We learned how to secure the rope with a figure-8 knot, and when we lower the flag each afternoon, we fold it the way that Commander Hoekstra taught us. We will demonstrate that now.
Thank you.
Well, as a veteran, I just want to say thank you, Ms. Bonilla, for teaching your children, our children, the kids in your school that. I think that's awesome. All right, we are going to give a break to give students parting gifts, and we're going to take some pictures in the front. So, yeah, Rock Rimmon, you guys can start first. Tina?
It's right here.
I know it is.
So we'll just say.
Yeah.
Jenna, and then
Yeah,
that's
I'll
what
just
say.
I'll bump that up. Okay.
Like all these people come in.
Yes. Hey, Gina. Carrie. You want to start talking after that? Let's go talk to her. Oh, no, she's knocking it out. I know. I shouldn't just single her out.
Remind me, I need to put that on.
Yeah.
Because I have a slide thing that I was already going to do about the science. And then
Yeah. So we have empty seats. I don't know why these people won't come in and sit down. Okay. we ready? Tina, are we ready? What are we doing? Tina, are we ready? Oh, okay. Folks, we're still filling seats, so we're just gonna pause for another moment or two.
I'm gonna do it right up that very first bullet.
I knew
and
that.
I'm just gonna say.
Yes. Yeah. Hopefully alleviate parents' concerns. Okay, let's continue to move on. Ms. Mattson, are there any updates to the agenda?
There were updates to the agenda and the board was notified of these.
Ms. Haber, do you have anything you want to add?
Yes, I have a recommendation for our agenda. I ask that we remove item 9B, changes to the athletic programs for boys hockey and girls lacrosse. I ask that that be pulled from the agenda. You saw the information that we had in the packet, and I know, and I just really appreciate that we have a very involved parent community. And we had 2 meetings last night, and we got some really good feedback from our parents. And in light of that feedback, I'm making that recommendation to pull it from our agenda indefinitely.
So I move that we amend the agenda and postpone indefinitely the review of item 9B, changes to athletic programs, boys hockey and girls lacrosse.
Second.
Oh, yeah.
It is moved and seconded to postpone the review of item 9B indefinitely. Is there any discussion on amending the agenda to postpone indefinitely? Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Cloninger?
Aye.
Mrs. Cons?
Aye.
Mr. LaValle?
Aye.
Mr. Salt?
Aye.
Mr. Temby?
Aye.
I just want to say there are probably a dozen folks that have signed up to speak on this. If you all want to speak, you absolutely can. You still have that right. If you don't want to speak, that's okay, since we've decided to postpone indefinitely this discussion. So again, it's entirely up to you all if you want to speak or not to speak. You can stay, you can leave. It will be, I'm going to guess, an hour to an hour and a half before you would be able to speak. Just FYI. Okay, so we'll move on from there. Members of the board, what's that? Oh, yeah. Thank you.
They don't know.
Yeah.
But they may
We'll take a little break, not break, a pause, because I know there's people that are going to want to come in and fill those seats.
Oh, I gotta say this first. Did you? Here it is. There we go.
I think everyone's going to get a seat, which is good. Members of the board, are there any items you wish to move from the consent agenda? Are there any items to be added to the agenda? May we have a motion to approve the agenda with this one change?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cloninger?
Aye.
Mrs. Cons?
Aye.
Mr. LaValle?
Aye.
Mr. Salt?
Aye.
Mr. Temby?
Board quote, Ms. Cloninger.
Thank you. Tonight I have a quote from a woman named Mary McLeod Bethune, who is the daughter of slaves in South Carolina and a civil rights activist. Sorry, there was weird noise. I leave you to love, I leave you to hope. I leave you the challenge of developing confidence in one another. I leave you a thirst for education. I leave you a respect for the use of power. I leave your faith. I leave you racial dignity. I leave you a desire to live harmoniously with your fellow men. I leave you with a responsibility to our young people. That's all.
Board comments, Ms. Collins.
Thank you, Mr. LaValle. Gonna see if our slideshow comes up here. Okay, there we go. So I was privileged and honored to get to attend some of our schools' Veterans Day assemblies and concerts. This first one was at Encompass Heights Elementary School, and Mrs. Cox in particular just had her kids, they were third graders too, and just amazing. All the different parts of music they did. I was super proud of them. But she just did such a beautiful job with the song selection, because I don't know about some of you, but so often America has been portrayed negatively in the media, and it tends to make me forget sometimes how much pride and love there still is in this country for our country. And I was just so touched to be reminded of how much our kids and our families honor the nation that we live in, and especially humbled to have everybody honor all of our veterans. So it was really moving to be a part of that. I love this bottom right corner because, you know, the parent wave as soon as the kids walk on stage, and I think all the kids actually found all their parents and grandparents. It was really remarkable. So huge group here. I love that at almost every school, they play the different songs for each branch, and you get to see everyone in the audience stand and be recognized for their service. Over at Pine Creek, they put on amazingly funny, wonderful play called The Play That Goes Wrong. So it was a play within a play, and we can't take pictures during. So here's our after picture of the crew and the actors. But it was hilarious, and again, always just overawed by the talent in our students. Challenger Middle School had a couple full-time reservists come, and of course the highlight for all the middle school kiddos was getting to try on all the equipment and items that they get to use for parachuting and jumping out of planes with rafts, kind of like Indiana Jones style. So that was awesome to get to hear them. And then last at Mountain View Elementary, very in-depth assembly and then a parade through the whole school. So tons and tons of veterans here. The kindergartners in this top picture, all decorated hats with each of the different branches, you know, little figure, little cartoon character, and they sang them a song. So it was just lovely. Mrs. Jordan is one of the teachers at Mountain View in this bottom picture, and she's also a veteran as well. So it was fun to have her be honored. More of what the amazing PTA did for the veterans, some of the second grade pictures. And then yesterday I got to go over to Encompass Heights for their family Thanksgiving dinner. They served, with the very gracious help of Sodexo, our food service provider, 1,300 meals. So yeah, I think they have almost 600 students plus their guests. What's really lovely was I think there was only 22 kiddos that weren't able to have a parent or family member come with them. And so I got to have lunch with one of the little second graders and met people that I knew from a long time ago sitting at the table. This is Mrs. Stirk in the middle is their principal. This is her mother to her right, who comes and serves every year. So it just, you would not believe how smoothly it went. It was so awesome, but super proud of all these teens from Pine Creek, their leadership program, AVID program. And these guys came and they were partners with the other kids who didn't have a family member there. So they were so sweet. They got to eat with the kids and make connections there, served the meal. 4 of them were on trash duty and they were smiling about it. So really proud of them. And I believe that is it. So we'll have more to, I don't want everyone to think I'm leaving out Mrs. Cloninger and Mr. Temby, but we'll get to gush on them in a few minutes. Thank you.
Mr. Salt.
Thank you. I made it to, it's been 3 of the high school plays, I think, since the last time we met. We went to Clue at Rampart. You guys did a phenomenal job over there. Hilarious. Air Academy put on Caught in the Act, and then Pine Creek did The Play That Goes Wrong. All 3 of those were hilarious. My wife went to me, and I think she was crying, laughing at some point through all 3 of those productions. So we had a really nice time going out and seeing the amazing talent that we have in our programs. I went to a couple different Veterans Day assemblies, watched Prairie Hills. They did a parade around their school with all of the veterans that were there, family members that had served or are current military, and then all of the kindergartners out there with their little flags waving as they walked through the hallways. And so it was fun. And then they did a 3rd grade concert right afterwards. And I went to DCC where they had a combined middle school and high school production or assembly, and they do a really good job up there, and it was really special to go and see. They honored all of their staff members that served, and they had about 10 or so that were there that were former military. The other thing I wanted to mention now, and this is really focused at the middle school students across the district, is that there is a civics bee that is going on now through beginning of January. It's a 500-word essay to enter, and based off of those essays, you can go to a regional civics off where they ask you lots of technical questions about the Constitution and the founding documents. The top 3 there get cash prizes and move on to the state. Top few finishers at the state level go on to a national bee where you compete against students from 26 other states. So it's a really cool opportunity. It's a fairly new endeavor that's going on right now. So we'll try to get some more information out, but if you're 6th, 7th, or 8th, you have until I think it's January 8th to submit your essay. So we'll try to get some more information out, but it's a really incredible opportunity. So yeah, good luck out there.
Colonel Stallworth.
Thank you. I know we have a pretty solid agenda for tonight, but I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of numerous veterans and individuals wearing the uniform. We really appreciate the love and support we've been receiving from the Colorado Springs community and District 20 writ large, particularly during Veterans Day and all the events that have been going on. It was amazing to see. It's been amazing to see tonight, just the value that we put on our country and on our flag, and for those who serve and choose to wear the uniform, the small population, percentage of the population, excuse me, that chooses to serve and to protect and defend our freedom. So thank you for that. Also want to say thank you to Will and Heather. Haven't worked with you very long, but 2 fantastic individuals. I really just appreciate your warmth and how you've helped bring me into the fold of this school board here. Really going to miss you, and best wishes to you. Thank you.
Ms. Cloninger.
I feel like I have said a lot of things, and so I'll let mostly my pictures do most of the talking. I went to the same plays as everyone else, and I was with Superintendent Haber and her husband Joe for most of them. And but I do get pictures of these guys, so this is Clue at Rampart High School. They did a phenomenal job, and these are just some of the actors and some of the people that put it together. Veterans Day assemblies, I'm doing these a little out of order, but I was at Antelope Trail Elementary and DCC, and it was really fun. And I will say thank you to my own veteran who's sitting in the far back, my husband Bob, who has served many years and has taught me a lot, and I appreciate him. And my own daddy, who was in the Navy and passed last year. It's something that I have held near and dear to my heart. So I appreciate these. I will say I'm still a little hung up on the Space Force song because it doesn't really roll off the tongue like the rest of them do, but maybe we can tweak it a little. The play that goes wrong, I had lots of friends in there, and I will tell you, they put themselves and contorted themselves into some of the funniest positions, and kudos to them for pulling it off in such, you know, kind of tricky times. And I've just been really impressed with you guys. This is the Air Academy crew, and it was Caught in the Act, another funny play. I mean, I was just so incredibly impressed with all of the talent that we have. These kids just never disappoint. And then these are just many faces of our people in our schools. I'm not going to go through all of them because there's many, although I will say Colonel Stallworth and I found ourselves at DCC Middle School watching his son and Mr. Beckman's son play in the middle school band, and it was very entertaining. And these are just some of the many whys of why I am here. And there's the concert. And I will just say, this is not something that Will would have liked me to put on here, but I will just say to you, Mr. Temby, that I love you and I am grateful for you, and I couldn't have done it without you. And I respect all of the things that you've done for this community, and I just want to say thank you. And to those of you that are listening, whether it's here in this room or in online, I just want to say to our little people who are here that are still in school. Yeah, I saw some of your heads pop up. Yeah, I'm still here and I'm still in the community, and I'm very much looking out for you. And I 100% will be at all of your endeavors and all of the things that you guys do. I love this community and I love this district. It's part of my heart. And even though I will take a different role, the biggest part will not stop, and that is advocating for every single stinking one of you. So I will, with that, hand it over to my friend Will.
Mr. Temby.
Right back at you. Before I go to slides, just again want to recognize Da Vinci and Rock Remen. As we say often, great things happen in D20 every day, and that was evidence again of just what phenomenal things are going on in our schools. Like everybody else, one of my favorite days of the year is the Veterans Day assemblies at the different schools. This is at Liberty, a huge crowd there and extremely well done. This is Timberview, and right in the center there, you might see a familiar face. Kind of hard to see if you're in the back of the room, but that's our very own Chief Operating Officer, Brett Smith, who served with distinction all around the world and served in numerous capacities. Catch the footwear of Mr. Smith, very impressive, but he gave a great speech about what it means to serve and the honor of serving our country, and I was very touched by it. And in the left, you'll see a table, and that table symbolized a table waiting at home for somebody who may never come home. And they talked about the symbolism of that to all the kids, and there was rapt attention. Mr. Smith and I were talking a little while ago, and he said after his presentation, he received quite a few notes from the students in attendance, and I know that meant a lot to him. So Brett, thank you for your service to our country. Frontier also had a great Veterans Day presentation, and they brought up a colonel from the Air Force, and you can see him up there asking kids what they want to be. And he said, "I'll pick on a couple," and about 40 hands went up. So that went a little bit longer than he wanted, but the enthusiasm of the kids was tremendous. And lastly, Explorer had a great assembly too, and Explorers where 3 of my kids went, so it's near and dear to me. but a Girl Scout troop was the honor guard there, so you can kind of see their smiling faces at the bottom there. And while everybody else was playing, so to speak, over the weekend, I decided to go over and see Pine Creek go against Denver East. It was 21-0 at the end of the first half. I left early in the third quarter thinking the game was in the bag, and then Denver East came back with 24 points. But Pine Creek is the real deal. When you look at them, I think they've got a good chance of going all the way this year because they beat some of the powers. So, but again, great things happen in D20 every day to include our athletic programs. So, and I have a brief statement, so bear with me. I hope I can get through it. It is with very mixed emotions that I wrap up my time with D20. Over 40% of my life has been spent in this district. My overwhelming feeling today is gratitude. I'm grateful for the excellent education that my 5 children received over 25 years in D20 in 7 traditional schools. I'm grateful for the personal interest that the staff took in me and my family. Bear with me. A true partnership between D20 and parents. Before becoming a board member, I was grateful to have had the opportunity to spend time in every school, with the exception of Encompass Heights, Legacy Peak, and Chinook Trail, as they hadn't been built yet. I'm grateful to have worked side by side with phenomenal parents on the first bond oversight committee 20 plus years ago, school accountability committees, the district accountability committee, growth and capital needs committee, and the successful 2016 bond committee. I'm grateful to have worked closely with 4 superintendents and our incredible cabinet members. I'm grateful to have been part of a district that has been accredited with distinction for 15 consecutive years. Lastly, I'm grateful to have been, for a short period, part of a nonpartisan pre-pandemic board that was solely focused on student achievement. I'm grateful to have known times when you never heard terms thrown around like our side or board majority. My hero is my father. I'm sorry. I didn't think I'd feel this way. A true greatest generation person who was with General Patton's Third Army during World War II, entered college after the war at age 21, and then graduated from medical school. As a highly respected psychiatrist, he once told me that the average adult spends 30 to 40% of their mental time debilitated by holding grudges and regrets. Hearing that, I vowed to lead my life operating below that average. This vow has been challenged lately. I have 0 regrets about my board service for the past 4 years. Board Governing Process Policy 4.10 states that board members must represent all students. Further, it states that board members must not be beholden to special interests and advocacy groups and not hold jobs that might pose a conflict to D20. For decades, that policy meant something. It speaks to character and virtue. I believe that I have held true to that expectation as a board member. However, tangibly and intangibly, it is time for me to move on. My form of radical reasonableness and moderation has no place here anymore. It is time for a new generation of boards with a different profile of elected official to attempt to transform D20 and perpetuate its greatness. It is an immense responsibility. Public education has to take every single child and family each year where they're at, and I wish the new board the very best. Thank you for the opportunity to serve you. Thank you. Jeez.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Will. I'll go through my few things that I have. I got to attend the Air Academy Girls Cross Country Assembling, honoring the state championship team. I talked 2 weeks ago about how phenomenally they did, and I talked to them for the 5K. 3 of them were under 18 minutes, which is just phenomenal. One of them was like 18 flat, and the other was, I think, about 18:06. Just amazing numbers. So congratulations again to the Air Academy Girls Cross Country team. I attended the Patron Council. I think, Mr. Temby, you were there as well. First time, actually second time I'd attended one of those, and I just want to publicly thank the Patron Council. They're folks that are over age 65, and they have a different perspective, but a valuable perspective. And I know Mr. Gregory started that, and Ms. Superintendent Haber has wisely continued that group, so I want to thank them publicly. My wife and I also attended Caught in the Act, a very cute play appropriate for all ages, performed by the Thespians from Air Academy High School. The students did a great job, and my compliments to Director Susan Manst. And then either yesterday or the day before, I went to Air Academy and met with the AP Liz Walhoff. And it was funny, she sent me an email. She said, I don't know if I'm allowed to email you, but can we talk about a possibility of a CTE strand for aviation, specifically piloting? And I said, yeah, I think I told you that I was going to do that. We spent over an hour just talk about, how do you get in, the military route to civilian route. Just had a great time. Just an exciting, I don't want to say probability yet, possibility at Air Academy High School. It's just a great opportunity to do that. And then I attended the audit committee meeting today, which is we're going to talk about that later. So we need a motion to approve resolution 32223, approval of combination for Ms. Heather Cloninger, and I want to read that combination. Whereas Ms. Heather Cloninger was duly elected to the Board of Education of Academy District 20 in November 2019, and whereas Ms. Heather Cloninger has faithfully fulfilled all the obligations inherent in that office, and now therefore be it resolved that Ms. Heather Cloninger be commended for her diligence, unwavering dedication, and unselfish giving of herself for the betterment of education for the children of Academy District 20, as recommended by the Board of Education and the Superintendent. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, please. Board? Nicole?
I will go first. I told Heather earlier that I was channeling her yesterday at Encompass Heights because I felt like I knew so many people, and I just felt so excited to get to talk to students and staff. So I felt a little bit like Heather is at every school and everywhere in the community. And I just admire that so greatly about you, how connected and just how you make such a deep connection with every student and staff. And so it's my ambition to carry that legacy of yours forward and just to continue to, welcome everyone I see at our schools and in the community with open arms. And just to you and Mr. Temby both, I just appreciate your expertise and leadership and education for me as coming onto the board. I know the resolution said unwavering dedication, but I had already written that. So before you read it, but that's what describes you. Heather is just your full heart for this district. And so we as a community, thank you for that.
Mr. Salt.
Thank you. Ms. Cloninger, I have really appreciated the optimism and the joy that you bring with you to each of these events, going to every school, graduations, et cetera, the time that we've spent together. My kids really appreciate the fact that you taught us 5 crowns, because that has become one of their absolute favorite games. I really appreciate the time that you spent on this board serving the students, the staff, the community here. It has not gone unnoticed by anyone, as you can tell from the room here, that everyone appreciates what you have done. So wish you the best in sticking around.
Mr. Temby.
Well, I think Ms. Cloninger knows how I feel. I first met Heather when I was running the Chamber of Commerce, and we had a group called the ambassadors. And one ambassador always stood out to me because she was the most gregarious. And the ambassadors used to go to businesses and welcome them to being a member of the chamber or to ribbon cuttings as businesses opened their businesses around town. And she was always there, a leader within the group. Then hit the pause button and we reconnect in D20 a few years later. But Heather, obviously your love of this district and for all students and their families is certainly recognized, I think, by everybody here. You're an asset, and I don't think there's a greater heart for this district than yours. So, thank you.
So Heather, I think we first met when you were on the CBOC. I don't know if it's the chair or the president, whatever it's called. And I remember the one meeting where, and I believe this was, Tom Greger was still a CFO, and we were building the CTE facility at Liberty, and the price just blew up. And you got up there and you pretty well ripped us. I still remember, do you remember that? And it was like, okay, we shouldn't have done that. That was not, it was way more expensive than they thought to build a CTE facility. It's been fun just sitting next to you. Heather actually, she didn't formally give me this, but it says stop talking. And she gave me this to give to anyone who was talking too much. And I have not used it. And you have, I don't think you've used it towards me. I hope you haven't. Maybe you've wanted to. Yeah, you've probably wanted to, but you haven't. But Heather, I just want to say it has been a pleasure. It's fun sitting. It's been fun. I consider you a friend. We've been sitting next to each other. We haven't always agreed on things, but I know you love the kids in the district and you want the best for them. There was no one who attended more events or hugged more kids than you. You have been involved for many years before the board, and no doubt that involvement will continue. I know the toll this job can take, and I didn't have any children in the home like you do. And I know there's a big, it's just so much time. And I just want to wish you and your family nothing but the best in your future endeavors. And I guess Bob is back there somewhere. May you be blessed with good health and many good years. Thank you. And we have a gift for you. I think there are probably statutory limits to how much we can spend on this, FYI, but it's a beautiful. It says, Academy District 20, Heather Cloninger, thank you for your leadership, ASD 20 Board of Education 2019 to 2023. Thank you. So if there's no other discussion, roll call, please. Yes, we did make a motion.
Mrs. Cloninger?
Aye.
Mrs. Cons?
Aye.
Mr. Lavalley?
Aye.
Mr. Salt?
Aye.
Mr. Timby?
Aye.
We need a motion to approve Resolution 32323, approval of commendation for Mr. Will Temby. Oh, crap. Sorry. It's reloading. My apologies. There it is. Okay, whereas Mr. Will Temby was duly elected to the Board of Education of Academy District 20 in November 2019, and whereas Mr. Will Temby has faithfully fulfilled all the obligations inherent in that office, and now, therefore, be it resolved that Mr. Will Temby be commended for his diligence, unwavering dedication, and unselfish giving of himself for the betterment of education for the children of Academy District 20, as recommended by the Board of Education and the Superintendent. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Nicole, you want to go?
Well, Mr. Temby, you said you can't imagine someone has a bigger heart than Heather, but I think you're a very close second. It's rare to meet someone who's such a servant leader as you are. You know, it's in your bones, and the community is fortunate for your heart of service, and it's just remarkable how many years you've given of yourself and your time in this whole community and this district. And really what I just want to let you know that I appreciated most over the couple years working with you aside from just your expertise and getting to learn what a board looks and operates like, is so often, especially in work sessions, you had such unique independent viewpoints. And I was able to, on many occasions, just open up my mind to new ways of thinking and looking at things that I would have not been exposed to if it hadn't been for your voice. And so that's what I appreciate most. And I wish you very best. Thanks.
Mr. Salt.
Thank you. Mr. Timby, it's been a pleasure working with you and sitting beside you. I've appreciated your perspective, your wit at some of the comments that have been made. I really wanted to also thank you for the amount of time that you've spent outside. I know you've spent a lot of time with CASB on the FRC and the bylaws committee and really doing work that is going to be a legacy at this point. So I appreciate all the time that you spent. So not just with education here in District 20, but really helping out the state of Colorado. Wish you all the best. It's been a pleasure and really look forward to seeing what you do next. Thank you.
Ms. Cloninger. Heather.
I hate this. I don't like seeing, it's not saying goodbye, but I don't like talking after I've been crying, and I don't cry very often. So I said a little bit of it with my picture, so I won't go on long because you know how I feel about you and you know my thoughts about this whole place. We have had a long history together and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the words that I've learned from you. They have been many and I have had to write down a lot of new words. I need a dictionary to be his friend, but I am grateful for the opportunity that I've had to work alongside of you. You're genuine and authentic, and you have been a true leader to this district and this community and one of my good friends.
Well, we worked pretty close together the last 2 years as the president and vice president, and we sat with Tom Gregory and then with Ginger on a lot of meetings and discussions, and I always appreciate, I so thank you for your wisdom and your experience, your background. How many times did Will say, you should call so-and-so. I know them, they're really good with X, whatever X may happens to be. So you were always a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of knowing people in the area. So many times I would email you like, what do you think? And most of the time you'd say, I agree. Sometimes you didn't, and we'd talk about it. And I always listened to you because you always had a lot of information that I needed. And I really appreciate just working with you. It's been an honor and a pleasure, Will. It really has. It really has. And I had to, like you do, I try to write things down. Will, I just want to thank you for your dedication to this district and to the board. I know you, like Heather, have served on a myriad of committees in service to D20, culminating here at the Board of Education. You have served selflessly for many years. I wish you nothing but the best for you and your family in the future. And this is a piloting thing, but may you have altitude below you and runway ahead of you. And I added, may you have a beautiful golf course awaiting you. And may you have many, many more years ahead of you. Thank you again. It says, Will Temby, thank you for your leadership, ASD Board of Education 2019 to 2023. Oh yeah, will you guys go in front with those? Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cloninger,
Aye.
Mrs. Cons,
Aye.
Mr. Laval,
Aye.
Mr. Lavalley,
Aye.
Mr. Salt,
Aye.
Mr. Timby.
Aye.
Very good. Superintendent comment, Superintendent Haber.
Yes, I'd like to start by introducing Mr. Cameron Smart, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, and he will introduce a new administrator.
It's kind of hard to follow what just happened here. I just want you to
All right.
know. I just want to say to Heather, thank you for making sure people had my name right. And to Will, I'll echo what she said. Yeah, my vocabulary has expanded. I still can't remember most of the words you used, but I appreciate you helping me learn more. And so, yes, tonight we have one administrator we're going to introduce to you tonight. I am pleased to, oh yeah, last time my jokes fell flat, so I'm just going to give you fun facts tonight, okay? When I get to the appropriate time. I'm pleased tonight to introduce Lisa Brandt, who is being recommended as the interim special education administrator. Lisa is joined this evening by her husband, Nick. They're right over there. Lisa holds a Bachelor's of Science in Special Education from The Ohio State University. And just so you know, fun fact right here, this is the moment. 1878 is when they started calling themselves The Ohio State University. And their mascot, if you didn't know, is the Buckeyes. And I don't know if you know what a Buckeye is. It's a nut that is toxic to humans. So don't know. Just thought you should know that. All right, so pursuing a master's in educational leadership from the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs, which she anticipates to graduate in May of 2024. She began her career, educational career in Widefield, School District 3, special education teacher, and then was a special education instructional coach. She currently serves as a special education behavior program facilitator with District 20. And I'll tell you, we're very pleased to introduce her because this position has been open since the end of last school year when that individual left our district. And so we are super excited to have her join us in this position as the interim special educator administrator. And so, is there anything you'd like to say, Lisa? Sure. All right, great.
Thank you so much, Cameron, for that introduction. I just wanted to take a quick moment to say thank you so much to the board for this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Lujan Lindsay, for believing in me, giving me this chance. I'm really eager to get to work. I'm also so grateful for this community here in District 20. Everyone that I've met and had a chance to work with has just been so welcoming and really giving me a sense of belonging in my new community here in District 20. I'm also so thankful to my husband, Nick. He's always encouraging me to really push outside of my comfort zone and really be the best version of myself, so I'm very grateful for him. I also just wanted to share a little bit about my belief in education. I believe wholeheartedly in the power of collective efficacy, that every single member of our staff and our school community plays a pivotal role in the success of our students. From our board, our teachers, our support staff, transportation, food service, every single person is a key component to the success of our students. And I'm really eager to begin this new role and play my small part in supporting the success of our students in District 20. So thank you all so much for this opportunity. I'm really eager to begin.
Thank you.
So now I'm very excited to introduce Ms. Julie Hendrickson, Health and Wellness Specialist, as well as our marvelous Rampart High School students. And I believe that we have Addison Andrews, Maya Russell, Solisa Aho, and Pine Creek High School student Brianne Martin, Chinook Trail Middle School student Mackenzie Anthony, and TCA students Aaron Young and Weston Kell. So please come to the podium.
Good evening. Thank you for having us tonight. I'm excited to share with you my sources of strength peer leaders from District 20. Sorry. And first, I want to thank the Board of Education. Sources of Strength came to District 20 8 years ago, and you guys have been such a huge support to Sources of Strength, showing up at our events, showing up to celebrate our students. And I would like to invite all of you as well to our roundtable in 2 weeks, which will be here at the atrium, and we will be sharing sources of strength from all over District 20, and there'll be peer leaders from every single school. And so sources of strength is in all of our secondary schools. It's a health and wellness upstream model. And so tonight I'm going to let you share from all of our students. So first from Rampart High School.
Hi, my name is Maya Russell, and I am a sophomore at Rampart. This is my second year being a peer leader at Sources. My favorite campaign from last year was our Valentine's Day campaign. For this campaign, we focused on positive friends. Students could nominate one of their friends by writing their name, grade, and reason they are a positive friend on a piece of paper. We then randomly drew 2 people from each grade to award with full-size candy bars. This is my favorite campaign because it showed even in the rough times, we still have a friend on our side. And that is what Sources is all about, finding our strengths in the rough times. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Addison Andrews, and I'm a sophomore at Rampart High School. This is my 3rd year as a peer leader in Sources. To start, I would like to ask a question. When you were a teenager, did you ever feel like you were stuck in a situation and had no one to share that problem with? Well, I definitely have. Sources of Strength has been an opportunity for me to better understand myself, my family, and the significance of this program. I believe that mental health is such an important aspect to understand and know how to help people who are struggling with this. Knowing that not only teenagers deal with mental health issues, I'm happy to be a part of Sources, where now I know that they reach out to everyone. My dad has dealt with depression for 26 years now and writes his own piano music as an escape and a safe place when it gets hard. Everyone at Rampart and at all of the high schools in District 20 should know that Sources of Strength can provide that escape and safe place where they can express themselves without feeling any shame or embarrassment. Thank you.
Hello all. Okay, so Sources of Strength is definitely a mentally positive student-run group, but I decided to take an approach on that focused on the most important people in my life, which is our staff-led counselor group. Sources of Strength helps create really strong connections with the mentors of your club, and I have the wheel on the back of my shirt, I believe, and it is the pieces of mentors is the piece of the wheel, and the counselors run our club at our school. And I have built these relationships up drastically recently. I spend a lot of time in the office. I actually wrote these questions while I was in the office, but they help me set goals for myself. But the most important part is they are my biggest supporters. And I want to celebrate everything I have with them. They build me up. They are literally like probably one of the biggest pieces of my life and have helped me through some of the darkest moments. I'm so sorry. And I'm going to be honest, without Sources, I would not have that connection at all in my life. And I would say they are definitely my top 10 most important people, if not my top 5. And without Sources, I don't think I would be here without them. So extra shout out to Sources, and I appreciate it so much every day because of them.
So from Chinook Middle School, I have Mrs. Anthony with me as well, and this is a big room to be in as a middle school student, and so she's chosen to not speak with us tonight, but I just want to share how proud I am of her, and I'm going to cry because this is my favorite part of my job. These kids are amazing, and so now I have the Classical Academy Junior High, and I'm telling you guys, if you ever want to attend the training, the Classical Junior High and their principal, Mr. D, it is such a fun day. It's one of my favorite days of the year, so thank you.
Good evening, District 20 board members. Thank you so much for having us here. My name is Weston Kell, and I'm an 8th grader at the Classical Academy Junior High School. This is my 2nd year as a Sources of Strength peer leader, and I am super grateful to be a part of this program. For me, the most impactful part of Sources has been the training itself. The training has empowered me to be able to look out for my peers and to be able to recognize when one of them needs to be connected to a source of strength. It has also helped me to realize that one of my personal greatest sources of strength is positive friends. It has also inspired me to be a positive friend to even more people in my school. The majority of the campaigns that we do are to make sure that everyone has positive friends and feel included at junior high. In fact, just yesterday we held an all junior high school cereal breakfast, just to let everybody know that they belong at TCA Junior High. This, in my mind, is exactly what Sources is about, making sure that people feel exactly like they belong and making sure that they feel loved.
Good afternoon. My name is Aaron Young. I'm also an 8th grader at TCA Junior High. I have been a member of Sources of Strength for 2 years now, and in those 2 years, I have learned what, to me, it means to be a member of Sources of Strength. We are altogether a group of peer leaders who pursue everyone who needs to be pursued, and if they're going through a rough time, we just go put an arm around them and let them feel welcome at school, because school is not a place where you should feel like scared and alone, because that makes things so much harder. So when we're happy at school, things are just so much better, and that's one of our primary focuses, to be welcoming to everyone. Like Wes said, we did a cereal breakfast just the other day to make sure everyone felt included. Nobody sat alone that day. We made sure of that because sitting alone is not a fun thing to go through. And as a member of Sources of Strength, one of my favorite days was the Sources training, which I learned the best way I can pursue those who need to be pursued, and how I myself can put arms around people who need just somebody to walk beside them. And this year, I have experienced positive friends so much. It makes school so much easier. With positive friends, I feel loved and welcome at school. And I have complete and total faith in our Sources of Strength members that we can have everyone on our junior high floor feel the exact same way about school. Thank you so much for having us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And if you guys are able to just stick around just a few, I'll go through my slides fairly quickly because we'd love to get a picture of you, and we'll take another break too, so that those of you that have shared have a chance to leave, although you can go now too if you want. Oh yeah, clicker. Oh, no problem. So yes, as Mr. Temby said, great does happen here in D20, and this was such an exciting day when we heard that Pioneer won the Governor's Award. I got a call from Governor Polis to announce that, as we shared last time, that Pioneer was awarded with the Bright Spot for their science achievement. So Allison and her team and myself, we were able to bring balloons and cookies for the staff. And then, of course, we get there and they're already in their PLCs looking at data and talking about instruction in the library. So we came in and we're able to just share some encouragement with them and congratulate them. And that was just a very special day. And we just found out that they just won another award. Dr. Fields.
Hi, yes, good evening, board. So I was actually with Brian Casebeer, the principal at Pioneer, all day today over at Air Academy. We were a part of an external review, and he got a phone call this morning from CDE that Pioneer Elementary is a National Title I distinguished school, and there's just 2 in the state of Colorado. And excuse me, the category they won in, there's 3 categories you can win in, was exceptional student achievement and growth. So Brian will get to take a team hopefully up to Portland. I guess the national conference is in February, where he'll receive his award. So we're super proud of him.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fields. So just a few schools. I've had an opportunity. I've been to just about every school now. I've just got a few left. But this was my visit to Edith Wolford Elementary, and with Principal Robin Lowry and Amanda Oliver, the assistant principal, and just an example of the amazing community and parent involvement that we have here in D20. This was parent Sherry Kirschman and her daughter Evelina Kirschman. And they have a farm, and every year I think they brought different farm animals out. So they brought this cute little pony, but best of all were the little 7-week piglets that were in the pen, and we all had to, you know, pet the piglets. But they were celebrating with 4th graders because they had just read the book Shiloh, and they were all in their outdoor area. And I just appreciate the school and their heart for outdoor education, and again, just our amazing parent volunteers. I was recently at Foothills Elementary, and I see our principal here, Gina Perez. She's amazing, and we had a great learning walk. Awesome examples of students engaged in their learning. I had a chance to see one of their PLCs. I think this was their 2nd grade team. We were talking about math, and then their MTSS team, and that's that multi-tiered system of supports. And I'm just so impressed of the work that's going on there about how they are just using data to decide how to make those individual interventions for students, both in academics and as well as for behavior. And I was super impressed with this wall that you see there. They basically took their math standards by grade level and by quarter and put them up on the wall. And that's so important because if I'm a 3rd grade teacher, I don't always remember, you know, what was taught in 2nd grade or what's going to be taught ahead of me in 4th grade. And this I just thought was a great visual. So thank you for a great learning walk since you're here. So lots of Veterans Day celebrations. I had a chance to go to 3 of them. Douglas Valley Elementary. I got to ride in a fire truck, and so did Mr. LaValle.
No, I was forced by you to ride in the
That's
fire
true.
truck.
And Sparky there, I had a great conversation with the fireman that was in the truck with me, but it was just a really fun day. Each of the grade levels took a different branch of the military and just said thank you to all of the veterans and folks that were lining the streets. And that was just really a highlight. And then I just say thank you to Adrienne Maury, the principal there. She asked me to co-lead or MC their assembly. And you can see we had quite a few parents, students, and families there, and staff members. But they just really did such a great job of just thanking our veterans. We had Air Force Colonel Dennis Malfer there, who also shared the importance of the empty table that was described earlier, which is that table set for veterans that may not come back. And then the 3rd grade team performed a real rousing rendition of God Bless America, and it was truly a great, great day. And then earlier, I was also, as Heather mentioned, able to go to Discovery Canyon. The parents and folks there just gave them a standing ovation as the veterans came in. The middle school band was phenomenal. The high school band was too, but that middle school band was amazing. Played the Armed Force Medley, really encouraging every veteran to sing their part. And what I really appreciated is the way they really incorporated their current staff members who are veterans to be part of the assembly. And then I actually started, and so there's this is Discovery Canyon. And then I actually started my morning that day at Air Academy. And I just thought it was a great ceremony as different veterans entered the gym. They did the saber salute for them as they came through. And then the 101st Army National Guard Woodwind Quartet really wowed the crowd with Star Spangled Banner. And then another highlight really included the special speaker, Colonel Kurt Wendt, who is our director of the Center for Character and Leadership Development at USAFA. And he just told some great stories that highlighted heroic acts of veterans throughout our history and to the present. And I took away the theme, which I really believe in, and that is that freedom is not free. We also had a chance to be at Air Academy again to, again, just celebrate this amazing girls cross country team. Not only is this team ranked 2 in the country, but this is the 2nd year in a row for the team to take home the top state title. So again, great really happens here. And of course, Principal Dan Olson was just in his prime there in the assembly, which I just appreciate him as well. Yeah, 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 just a little more excited.
He actually bench pressed the entire team.
Yeah.
So,
And then I just, again, a special thank you to Aaron Salt for inviting me to the naturalization ceremony that happened across the street at the Pikes Peak Library. And at this ceremony, we had people from 20 different countries that took their oath to become a citizen of the United States. And that was just really inspiring to me personally, and just a good reminder of what it really means to be as a citizen of the United States. Yep, there it is right there. It was really moving and very inspiring, and Mayor Yemi was there as well. And he actually, I think it was 6 years earlier, had taken the oath in that very same library, and he shared his personal story, which was really inspirational as well. And then kudos to our special education team and to Director Belinda Lujan Lindsay. Let's give her a hand. It was great. They hosted their first special education information night for parents. We had a nice crowd there. I had the opportunity to welcome the crowd and attended the first session that they had, which was a great and effective overview of what the individual education plan or IEP process is all about. So really a thank you to them for engaging our community and our parents. The last Pikes Peak superintendent meeting was hosted here in D20, and that's all of the superintendents from the Pikes Peak region. And I had the opportunity to invite Chief of Police Chief Vasquez and Deputy Chief of Police Mary Rosenoff to come and just connect with the superintendents. And we just had a great discussion about the roles of school resource officers, how they're chosen, the kind of training they have, some of the challenges that different superintendents have, and how we could partner more closely with Colorado Springs Police Department. And the Deputy Chief Rosenoff, she has a great process that she's initiating. It's called Procedural Justice, which is really about connecting with community. And so I just really appreciated her presentation, and we will be maybe talking with her later about how we could support those efforts. And then just ending with a few high school celebrations. Congratulations to Rampart High School KRAM students who took home awards at the 2023 National Scholastic Press Association Best of Show Awards. KRAM was named the 7th best high school news show. And we also want to congratulate Caitlin O'Keefe and McKenna Blatnick for first places in news stories and a superior rating in broadcast news features and sports stories. Again, another example of what we do here in D20. And then Pine Creek High School, the speech and debate team, congratulations to them for winning first place at the Dragons Backbone Speech and Debate Competition. And over the course of 12 hours of competition, students delivered speeches and debated against 300 plus students from 28 schools from across Colorado. So go Eagles. I also recently heard, I don't have the specifics, so I'll share it next time as well, but the Unified Sports team, their bowling team, also just won some awards. So that's really exciting as well. So I've been trying to think of what to share with our amazing board members that are leaving, Will and Heather. And I was trying to find quotes that would just really fit the work that you have done over the years and the short time that I've been with you as well. And I really thought of this one from Eleanor Roosevelt, that the future really does belong to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. And you, during your service here, you had big dreams for D20. And I know that your leadership has made a huge impact in the success of D20, and just appreciate your heart, your character. For me personally, the way you have been coaching and caring and connecting me with members of the community, and just appreciate all of your support in helping me to make a successful transition. And then I found another slide, so I had to put this one on here too. Couldn't decide between the two. And that is that leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. And I think that you both have a real vision, and your service here helped to turn that vision into a reality. And Warren Bennis is the kind of the author of Transformational Leadership. And he says that there are three important qualities that he considers in a leader. And I thought of you and both of you, and I thought, yes, this definitely characterizes you. It's a theory in which leaders know their strengths and weaknesses, and they practice the four qualities of leadership, which include empathy, consistency, and integrity. And you just really both really exemplify that. So just thank you so much personally for the support that you shared with me. I know our cabinet is very appreciative of you as well. So we have a couple of cards and gifts involved for you guys. And just thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I know that our cabinet feels the same way. So thank you. So now if we could have the Rampart students come up and we'll shake their hands and give them a little token of appreciation and take a picture. And then if you don't want to stay for the whole meeting, that is more than fine.
Let's say we'll take a 7-minute break so we can kind of hack the clock. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
I know, yeah.
Hi.
I don't want to have to get. My wife, she's on the list.
Oh, grab. I know.
No, it's good. That's good. Oh my goodness. Okay.
All right, let's get started. We need a motion to approve the following resolutions. Resolution 324-23, approval of matters relating to administrative staff licensed. Resolution 325-23, approval of matters relating to administrative staff classified. Resolution 326-23, approval of matters relating to staff specialist staff. Resolution 327-23, approval of matters relating to licensed staff teachers. Resolution 328-23, approval of matters relating to licensed staff, licensed support / special services provider. Resolution 329-23, approval of matters relating to classified staff. Resolution 330-23, approval of workers' compensation cost over $1 million for fiscal year 23-24. Resolution 331-23, appropriation of capital projects funds and contract award for HVAC system upgrade at Pioneer Elementary and HVAC system refurbish at Frontier Elementary, and the approval of the Board of Education regular meeting minutes from November 2, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cloninger?
Aye.
Mrs. Cons?
Aye.
Mr. Lavalley?
Aye.
Mr. Salt?
Aye.
Mr. Temby?
Aye.
We have 46 attendees who are online, FYI. Next is information items, language immersion phase-out plan, Superintendent Haber.
Yes, and I will introduce Dr. Susan Field, Assistant Superintendent for Learning Services.
Good evening. I am privileged and excited to introduce the team that's actually going to do this presentation this evening about our language immersion phase out at 3 elementary schools, Academy International, Foothills, and Ranch Creek. So if Laura McNally, come on up, Laura. Laura is the principal at Academy International, followed by Carrie Evans, who's the principal at Ranch Creek, and Julie Casano, who is an assistant principal at Foothills, and Gina Perez, principal at Foothills Elementary. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm glad to be here. Some history about the programming of immersion at Academy International. The program has started since the inception of our school in 1998. So it truly is a part of who we are. We do offer a partial immersion program offered in 1st through 5th grades and currently 5th grade, and currently we're serving 168 students. And when I say partial, that means English language arts is spoken in English, and math, social studies, and science is spoken in that target language, French. We're fortunate that we've been able to offer 2 delivery models. So if we're not able to secure highly qualified staff for immersion than what we do for our classes, if we have that immersion teacher, they teach both immersion classes, the French and math, social studies, and science. And then that English speaking teacher teaches the immersion classes, English language arts. So we're fortunate we have those 2 delivery models. All right, and that last bullet is really, I wanted to show over time, because this is my 9th year at Academy International, really the staffing and the struggle that it's been since I've been at Academy International. So in year 2015-16, we had 4 sections at each grade level with 2 immersion teachers beginning in 1st grade. That means a total of 10 teachers, 1st through 5th grade. And since then, it's been up and down trying to secure highly qualified teachers, not only in elementary ed, but also in that world language piece. So you can see this current school year in 23-24, we're now at 3 sections at each grade level with 1 immersion track, and we're down to 4 immersion teachers in 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and 5th grade, and we have not been able to secure one in 4th grade. So our world language teacher is providing enrichment for those students. So it truly is due to a staffing shortage and not able to secure those highly qualified teachers. And now I'll turn it over to Gina Perez.
Good evening. Thank you again, Mr. Temby, for your service and support at Foothills, and you too, Heather. Just thank you. Appreciate it. I wanted to say that. The history of immersion at Foothills really started in 2009, and since then there has been some changes. We went to a full immersion model at one point where every single classroom at all K through 5 were Spanish immersion. But that back, and I'm not sure the exact date that we had to change that and phase that out. That was that happened to be phased out by the former principal, and to where we offered 1 immersion class, K5. And then last year we lost our kindergarten immersion teacher. We weren't able. We posted that for a while. We weren't able to fill that position, and so we had to call each of those parents and explain our situation, and that was received very well by our parents in that classroom, understanding that we weren't willing to sacrifice high quality instruction for a Spanish immersion piece we couldn't support. Currently this year we have grades Spanish immersion 1 class per grade in grades 1 through 5. We teach the Spanish immersion only in the science and social studies. Again, we were concerned with making sure that content was fully understandable and Students were able to access and be able to understand it in traditional format. And so right now it's only in our science and social studies content areas. We are predicting next year losing definitely one Spanish immersion teacher, possibly two. And last year we did lose one Spanish immersion teacher. Posted it, I think, most of the summer. Was never able to fill that position until I made some phone calls. And we were able to get a teacher out of retirement, actually, to fill that as a favor. It was a godsend, actually. So that is the history a little bit and some of the challenges and the impact of, and for me, quite frankly, it's integrity, offering a program that I might not be able to sustain, and also integrity of not willing to sacrifice high quality instruction for the immersion. Thank you.
Good evening. So just a little bit about the history of immersion at Ranch Creek. We do have, we are a 4-round school. One of those rounds, starting in 1st grade all the way through 5th grade, has been a dedicated Spanish immersion program. In our 1st and 2nd grade programs, we run about 80% Spanish. All of their instruction actually is done in Spanish with the exception of writing, because just developmentally they don't have the skills in order to be able to do that in the target language. And then also specials, and then obviously lunch and recess that time is included in English. In our 3rd grade, our students begin to taper off just a little bit of Spanish immersion. There is not a Spanish immersion feeder program that we go into, and so we felt it was our duty to ensure that our students were ready to transition to the middle school. And so it went down to about 65% of Spanish language in the 3rd grade. And then in 4th and 5th grade, it dropped down to 40%. Our students learned language arts in English, and then math and science and social studies were done in Spanish. We also, like the other 2 schools, have had some struggles with hiring highly qualified staff. We, since I have started 5 years ago, I've had to hire 8 Spanish immersion teachers for that one round in each grade level. And that is due just to natural attrition, but also, being dually certified. These teachers have very global backgrounds. And so I have lost teachers to Colombia, to Canada. One has retired. And so they are just naturally moving on from us. We had a huge impact this year. I had 3 teachers that I needed to hire that I posted last March. I was aware of them early, luckily. We were able to find one teacher that we brought down from Summit County, and then I left the other 2 positions open until the end of June, and I was never able to find a highly qualified teacher for those. So we had to make a pretty tough decision for my community. We kept the immersion program in each of our classrooms, in each of the grade levels, but it had to go to a 50-50 model for 1st and 2nd grade, and then also for 4th and 5th grade. So this year, my 1st graders are receiving all of their literacy instruction in Spanish. My 2nd graders are receiving their math and science and social studies instruction in Spanish. And then my 4th and 5th graders, their impact wasn't as great as my primary because the model always was a 50-50 at a maximum for them. And so the only impact is they have 2 teachers that are teaming together. But that was, like I said, a tough decision, and making those phone calls was really hard because, as with the other 2 schools, this has been an identity for us. So making the decision was not easy, but we have to understand the impact that not having teachers is doing for our students. And so just a few of the current challenges that we have with hiring our immersion teachers. Our language immersion teachers have to be, like we said, dually certified. They have to have the K-12 language. They also have to have the K-6 elementary license, and not many people have both of those endorsements. The student impacts that we are running across because of the shortage of highly qualified teachers is we have gaps in our immersion strands. We are having to do job shares where our students are having multiple teachers. We have had to do combination classes. And then it also impacts the enrollment of our traditional classrooms. So I had this situation happen this year where I have 16 students in my 5th grade immersion class, and that is just due to students moving away. Sometimes our students go to school in the woods, and when they come back, they don't want to go back into that immersion class. And unless we have Spanish speakers coming in, we can't place a student who doesn't have the language in 4th and 5th grade in that classroom. So those classrooms shrink. And unfortunately, I had 11 students on my overflow list for a traditional classroom that I could not take in my building because I didn't have space in my traditional classrooms. And so it's impacting my general population as well at this point. So we have done some communication work with our families, and I will let Julie Casano come up and talk about that.
So with any large scale change, our communication is going to have to be tight. So our communication was drafted in collaboration with building leaders and district leaders, as well as the communication department. Our goal of our communication was really to be direct and clear, but pretty succinct. On the day that the communication went to families, it also went to our middle school feeder strands. Our middle school principals have done a really nice job of supporting our students who go into immersion as they enter the middle school, but they have seen staffing challenges in hiring highly qualified French and Spanish teachers as well. So we wanted to make sure to give them a heads up as we were moving forward with this phase out plan. You will notice here that the timeline for the phase out is a little different in terms of the schools. So Foothills is a year ahead of Ranch Creek and Academy International. And really with kind of the site-based decision making that you grant us, for Foothills specifically, our community, we've seen a decline in the interest for our immersion program over the last couple of years. And so we felt like to phase this program out next year would be kind of the most beneficial for our community, whereas the other 2 schools felt like they needed to continue it on for another year beyond us. So our goal for the phase out is really any student who is currently participating in the immersion program, that they can continue receiving that immersion programming throughout their elementary career. So if a 2nd grader right now is in immersion, we hope that then 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, they are able to participate in our immersion program. That's really our goal, and that's what we communicated. But as my team communicated with you, the hiring has been tough. So if we're seeing, if a teacher were to leave to retire or resign for any reason, what we plan to do is to post that position kind of in 2 ways. One will be a traditional classroom teacher. One will be an immersion teacher. We will get, a pool of candidates. We hope that the best candidate is a bilingual teacher who has those dual certifications where we can kind of plug that hole. That teacher will take over and we can really continue the programming for students. But as Gina mentioned, we're really looking for the best candidate and the most highly skilled person to put in front of our students. And so if we need to have that be a traditional classroom teacher and there's a gap in immersion kind of moving forward, we wanted to prepare our families that that could be a possibility. As the other principals stated, when that happens, we really do call each family individually to say like, hey, we're really sorry that this is happening. There's a gap in this programming. However, here's our rationale, and families have been very cooperative with that thus far, knowing that we're trying to put the best person in front of their students.
All right, so what's next for world language at our schools? Academy International and Ranch Creek, we will continue to have world language as a specials class for all students K through 5. Preschool, I have preschool this year, PK through 5. And Foothills will prioritize hiring a Spanish teacher for all students so they can receive Spanish as a specials class. Because like we've said, world language is very much part of our culture and who we are as a school. So we want to make sure we're maintaining that as a specials class for all students. Thank you for your time this evening. Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Temby.
Well, thanks to the 4 of you for presenting here tonight. This is a sign of the times and an unfortunate sign of the times. We're not just producing students to be national citizens, we're putting them out in a global economy. and having language skills. Again, I referenced this when we had our first presentation on this, that only 7% of Americans speak a second language. And in other developed Western nations, developed countries, that number is much higher than it is here in our very own country. So I've always thought this was one of our badges of honor, being able to provide this, particularly as we see people come into the district from other countries. Having some of these programs makes it a little bit easier, particularly if they speak those immersion languages. So I kind of feel for the four of you. I know this is not easy, dealing with the staffing issue. It has nothing to do with our resolve about programs like this. It has everything to do with people. And so, but thank you for trying to put the most thoughtful plan together to transition us. But to me, that's it's an unfortunate sign of the times. So, but thank you to the four of you.
Mr. Salt.
Thank you. Not entirely sure who should field this question, but the question is, which schools are still going to maintain their immersion programs? Do we have any schools? No.
Well, throughout, it's a phase out. So we're going to maintain. So for example, at Academy International, this next year will be the last year in first grade for an immersion cohort, but that's pending if we can have and, you know, retain or hire the dually qualification. So, but it's a phase out. We want to honor those students and families that are already in the program, but it's dependent on the staff that we maintain or hire.
Sure. Sorry, let me rephrase the question. Are there any other schools within the district that have immersion programs,
No.
or is this it?
Excuse me, there is not.
Perfect. Thank you.
We should have just said stop.
So, and I've been thinking about this, and this might be a Mr. Smart question, but if you are less than 100%, in other words, a 0.9 teacher, I don't believe certification is required. Is that correct?
You can be an adjunct instructor, yeah, less than 1.0.
Yeah.
So,
And
but
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being certified, clearly. Tonight, we're going to hear from the Classical Academy on their annual report. I think less than 40% of their teachers are certified. Again, I'm not slamming certification, but have you all considered to say, okay, we hire somebody at a 0.8 or 0.9 who's not certified, who is fluent in Spanish or French, and use them as teachers?
We haven't considered that, but like we all mentioned, we really prioritize instruction and the highly qualified. And right now, you know, prioritizing learning instruction over language.
I understand, and I'm not trying to pick a fight with anybody, but I think some folks at TCA would agree with that assertion, and they have a lot of teachers that aren't certified. So again, nothing against certification, but that's something that, in my view, to consider is to say, look, if we can't find highly qualified certified teachers, maybe we start looking for teachers that aren't certified. I always kind of use myself as an example. You know, I taught math at the Air Force Academy, but I could not teach middle school math because I'm not certified. But anyways, that's just a comment. Okay. Anything else, board? Yes, Ms. Cloninger.
I just appreciate being one of those 7% that can speak another language. I appreciate the fact that you have a lot of families that are hurting right now and that are sad, and that has been such a part of your schools and really part of the fabric of why people have moved to those communities. So my heart is with you and with your families, and I recognize that with the, you know, public school and how you have come to hire and things like that. I appreciate that is something that the, you know, academia part of it is so important. I've seen you at all of your job hiring places, and it's just it's hard to find that. Like Mr. Temby said, there's just not enough people that do speak that second language. So I appreciate you guys looking out for our kids.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Cons, forgive me.
Thank you. It's okay. Just last minute, I just thought of something. I'm sorry. If you all have, give or take, 4 immersion teachers left, you know, at least at one of your schools, would there be a place as you phase out to have more Spanish teachers as your specials teachers and get the kiddos rotating into Spanish as a special every day?
I think Laura's situation is different than because she isn't, she already has a world language. So I think it's going to be, but Foothills does not have a Spanish as a special. We actually did post it for probably 6 months and did not get it even as a Spanish elective. So it was a challenge, and we had to be creative. And in that process, we hired a STEAM teacher for our elective, and that has just been really powerful, and our community loves that, and I can't get rid of that. Trust me. And that is a favorite among our students as well. So we are looking to hire a elective Spanish teacher, and that was our answer to our community who asked that question. And there was only a couple, actually. It is a sign of the times, Mr. Timby, and I know schools are at hard times right now, even getting classroom teachers. And so I understand that that's probably the priority of our HR department, to get highly qualified teachers that are teaching traditional classrooms right now. And so to put that added burden on to also speak the language is challenging. Not to say it'll go away forever. We all discuss that hopefully things will change and we can bring that back. But like I said earlier, to promise that to choice families or to promise that to our kindergarten families coming in is something I can't do with integrity.
Right, of course. Well, I wish you luck.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure it wouldn't be, as I'm thinking this through with you, I'm sure the language immersion teachers would not be the folks that would probably stay just to teach a language special because of the different qualifications. So it was just a wishful thought of maybe we could offer more language specials as it phases out. So
go ahead.
To say they do have the dual certification, so if they wanted to do that, they absolutely would have the qualifications as a Spanish teacher.
Right, just probably extra qualifications. So, okay, thank you all.
Thank you all. Next is the annual monitoring report from the Classical Academy. Superintendent Haberer.
There we go. I'd like to, Mr. Wes Jolly, Director of Academic Services at TCA.
Right. Good evening, District 20 Board, Superintendent, and those who are in attendance here. It's a pleasure to be here to share about TCA. I am representing Dr. Robert Thomason, who cannot be here tonight because he's struggling with an illness, so I am the fill-in. I'm thankful for a couple things tonight. First of all, I'm thankful that I did not follow the blues presentation to kick things off. And secondly, I'm thankful for these young people that we've heard tonight. I think I'm going to reach out to a couple of those TCA students and ask them if they can do this presentation next year for myself or Dr. Thomason. I've been at TCA for 18 years, serving 11 years as Director of Academic Services and 7 years in the classroom before that, teaching history. Before I get started, I just want to say that I'm proud to be representing the 460 staff at TCA, the 2,100 families that we represent, and 3,700 students. At 3,700 began with 400 in 1997, and this is our 26th year. I want to take a moment and just thank the D20 board, the D20 leadership, because I believe our relationship is unparalleled. I don't believe there's a charter school in the state of Colorado that has a relationship like the Classical Academy has with the District 20 board. And I want to take a moment to thank Mr. Timby and Ms. Cloninger also for your support of TCA and your service to District 20. It's very much appreciated. That relationship over 26 years, I believe, is only strengthened. We have the support that we need from these great staff sitting here behind me. I want to personally give some thanks to a few that my staff work directly with, and I know that's a little bit dangerous because when you do that, you're going to leave someone out. But I'd like to thank Jim Smith and Susan Field, Becky Allen, Tanya Thompson, and Belinda Lujan Lindsay for their continual support for things that we do at TCA. And I know that there are many others that help in different areas that aren't related to academic services. I want to touch on a few big items tonight from the monitoring report. you have a lot of details there. We hired a new president in July of this year. Dr. Robert Thomason replaced Russ Sojourner, who'd been at TCA for nearly a decade in the role as TCA president. That transition officially began on July 31st, moving into August 1st. We just completed this year, after 25 years of attempting, building out a third floor for our administration. We have been in separate areas for a long time, and now we have our cabinet level leadership all in the same suites on the third floor, which was in our original plans when the school was developed in 1997. I think Becky Allen and Heather Cloninger got to walk through there. Earlier this year, I was out of my office, but I think it left an impression because later I came across them and they commented about my Bob Dylan concert posters. Bob Dylan, by the way, is 82 years young this year and is doing a concert right now in New York City at the Beacon Theater. I wish I was there. I also want to point out our digital health policy. This past year, our TCA board, and we have 2 members here tonight. We had 3 actually here. One of our board members' sons was presenting for the junior high. We have our board chair, James Fredette, sitting over here on the end, and we have board director, Mrs. Kenita Johnson, here in the audience tonight also. This past year, we passed a digital health policy. We started that effort before the pandemic began and before schools became a little bit different and students were not in person. We picked up that banner, that effort, a year ago under Dr. Sojourner's leadership and had a year of conversations with our staff and our parent community. And our board put into place a policy that restricts digital devices from our students from bell to bell, kindergarten through 12th grade. It's a big adjustment. It's been tremendously successful. The focus level of the students, the interaction relationship, the lunch halls are pretty amazing places now and loud endeavors. I can hear them from my office because they are now focused on interacting with each other rather than having their head on a device. TCA is financially sound. I think in the report it shows that we have well over 100 days of cash on hand, $14 to $15 million. We have a strong we continue to have a strong wait list of students trying to get into our campuses. We bring in about 300 kindergarten students each year, a few first graders and a couple second graders. Those are the primary grades that we bring students in. We have positive staff retention rates, some of the lowest in the surrounding area, and we have low student attrition rates. Last year was one of our lowest attrition rates in probably the last 5-10 years. School performance framework, all of our schools are rated on performance plans, and I think there was a 28-page attachment that I got to put a lot of effort into that, and I presented to our board on Tuesday night that measures our academic achievement. I would simply say that I believe it's stellar. Now I'll pause here for a second because in our reporting, our measuring stick is District 20. That's who we compare ourselves to. And the reason we do that is because it's been mentioned earlier tonight. District 20 has been accredited with distinction for 15 consecutive years. That's incredible. So if I want to measure us against someone, I want to make sure that we are at or above the levels of what the district is overall. We're honored to be part of such a long-standing, successful district. My analysis of our academic achievement, accreditation, and accolades for this year was, I've been doing this and providing that report for 11 years, and it's the best in that 11 years. Tuesday night, I was able to share with parents that are looking to come to TCA, our prospective parents night. We talked about our goals and our mission, which is in the documents provided to you, and about the goal of creating exemplary citizens, those students who walk across that stage and get their diploma from their parents. We want them to be able to go out in the community and be citizens that make a difference. We have many academic and athletic accolades as noted in the monitoring report, but it also, as it states in our core values, those are not what we measure ourselves by. The foremost measure of our success is living up to that core values document, not how many students we have on the wait list, not how many achievements we get or AP test scores we attain, but how we live up to those values that were created 26 years ago. What we're about, classical ideas that have stood the test of time. The ideas of Charlotte Mason and Dorothy Sayers, utilizing the trivium of the grammar, logic, and rhetoric stages of learning and using a Socratic approach with our students. I shared with those parents on Tuesday night who are looking to possibly attend TCA that it's great if your child wants to be a doctor or a lawyer or a minister or an engineer, you name that. And that's fantastic, but that's not what we're about. That's not what we're trying to develop. We're trying to teach students how to be, not what to be. That will sort itself out. Ultimately, I guess my best endorsement for TCA and the successes that are in that report, being there 18 years, I think speaks a lot. I've never been at one place that long in my life. Spent a lot of time in the military, so I never thought I'd be at 18 years in one area. But 3 months ago, my first grandchild was born, and she is on the wait list and a member, hopefully going to be a member of the class of 2042 at TCA. So hopefully that speaks a little bit about my belief in what it is that we're doing. And I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Ms. Cloninger.
I actually was just going to make a statement that TCA's was my school this year, and I just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Verdette here and also to Dr. Thomason. We sat down a month and a half ago, and I called it myth busting because oftentimes there is a they versus us kind of mentality in the charter world, and I am the one that gets pegged as the one anti-charter person, and I'm not. And I absolutely appreciate and the time that Miss Allen and I got to go in and see some of the classes, the instruction that was going on there. There were several classes, and I can't remember if it was a world history class that we went into, and the projects that they were doing just were so incredible. And I just wanted to say that I hope that as we, right now it's kind of a funny time in district history and with changes and things. I hope that people can figure ways to continue that bridge. I think with the leadership that Mr. Verdette and Dr. Thomason and all of you guys, I think that I'm just grateful for that partnership, like you said, and it is an incredible place of learning. And I have been very humbled to go over and see what you guys have been doing. I continually want to myth bust because I think there's a few still that I'd like to do, but I really think that I'm just grateful for you being in our community.
Mr. Salt.
Thank you. We talked a little bit about Air Academy's cross-country team earlier, so I wanted to say congratulations to TCA's cross-country team, boys and girls, right?
Boys and girls state champions this year for many years in a row, and also an individual student on the male team was also state champion.
That's incredible. So congratulations. As far as your digital health policy, I know when I was speaking with Mr. Fredette about a year or so ago, I think you invited me out and we had some really interesting conversations around that. At that point, it was still sort of in its infancy as far as what it was going to look like. And so I know students are limited. Do you have any restrictions on staff with the devices too, or is it purely just the students?
Staff are not to have their devices when they're front-facing students. So if they have a planning period or during a passing period or when there are not students around, staff can use their phone, but not at other times.
Thank you.
Mr. Temby.
Wes, you need to exude more pride in TCA. And I'm sorry you're missing Bob Dylan tonight. I'm sure it's a great show. So just want to thank you for what you do. I don't think many people understand that the TCA is the largest brick and mortar charter school in the state of Colorado. And our charter schools represent about 16% of the enrollment in this district. So it's formidable. And you touched on something that I think is universal in this district, is the focus on developing the next generation of citizens. And you guys do an exceptional job. So just want to thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Mr. Fredette, Welcome. Thank you. I didn't get a chance to say hi to you earlier. Just for the community, why does TCA come up here? District 20 is their authorizing authority. We, if heaven forbid something went south at a school that we authorized, we have the authority to pull their charter. At 26 years, don't anticipate that's going to have the effect, quite the opposite. In fact, I was going to say my last comment, I'm going to say first, thank you for making this report so easy, TCA. I do have a bunch of comments and a couple of questions, mostly out of curiosity. Do y'all still appoint one board member and elect the other 6?
That's correct. We appoint one. We're in the process. We actually developed a committee on Monday night to start that process again. So we have one appointed member and 6 elected.
Yeah, I'm kind of proud that I kind of pushed that 9 years ago, 10 years ago, and I'm glad that's still the case. To try to get a community member on the board, somebody separate, if you will, to have a better view of what's really going on, just a different perspective. I appreciate that. And this may sound like a criticism, and it's not. Do you still have Mr. Weston attending the board meetings?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Again, it's 10 years ago, 9.5 years ago when I started the TCA board, Mr. Weston was a wonderful man. In fact, I think he was Liberty High School principal at one point, just a tremendous individual. I was like, why is he here? And the answer was, well, because D20 basically wanted to make sure that this board didn't go south. That was my understanding. I don't know what the case is. I have never seen in my 6 years on this board any of his reports. So just for what that's worth, great guy. I don't know where, I'm not saying he doesn't do a wonderful job, but I think there's a high level of trust here regarding TCA, just for what that's worth.
Mr. Weston provides a great service for us.
Good to hear. That was my initial answer that I got 9.5 years ago. 9 people gave $10,000 or more. I thought that was awesome. Thank you for those individuals who did. Any thoughts, any concerns? You attrited, I know I'm part of TCA still. Attrit after about 2nd or 3rd grade, you don't bring anybody else in. It looked like the numbers were a little bit higher than perhaps in years past. I seem to remember my kids graduating with 130, 140. Maybe I'm wrong, and now you're down to 115, 120. Is there any concerns regarding that?
No, not necessarily. We knew a couple years ago, a few years back, when we changed the class sizes at kindergarten through 1st and 2nd grade, we were trying to keep those at 18, 20, and 20. That ultimately that was going to change our flow of the funnel from our elementaries to our high school. Our ultimate goal is to have a high school of 600 students. I believe right now we're at 589. Our junior high is at 440. And combined, we want to have 1,000. We're at around 1,020. So we're about where we are. We expect to stay around the 125 to 140 graduates. So roughly 300 kindergarten students come in. And by the time they graduate, we have a lot of students who are there for 13 years. That dwindles down to about 130, 140 students.
All right, thank you. I was glad to see countercultural is still in the core values. There was discussion 9 years ago for moving it. I was glad to see that it's still there. Have the core values at TCA changed at all?
They were developed in 2010, basically taking the oral tradition of why the founders created the school and putting it in writing in 2010, and it has not changed since that day.
We had considered putting page numbers on it, and we didn't even do that. We didn't want to touch it. Thank you. I love the cell phone policy. I looked at your top people. They have hardly changed in 6-8 years. You know, Schultz and Mr. Van Gampelier. It is a testament to TCA. I see Mr. Swanson over there has been there for forever as well. It is a testament to how you take care of your staff as well as the excellence that you have. The fact that the top people just stay there. I think that is a great thing. What % of your teachers are certified?
We the percentage of our teachers, and I'm going off of memory from our human resources report because it's not in here. I believe that we have about 50 to 60% who had licensures. About 30% have current licenses.
Okay, I was just curious what that number was. Thank you. Thank you for making, again, this report easy. You guys do great work, and I'm thrilled. I'll say this publicly, but I talked with Dr. Sojourner, and now I think I mentioned it to Dr. Thomason. When I first got on the board, I said, look, if District 20 is not doing something that you need them to do, or if they're doing something you don't want them to do, would you please let me know? And I don't know what I can do, but I can try. Once a year, I'd call Russ and say, hey, how are things? Never once did he say, Tom, this is really a problem. Never once. That is a testament to the relationship that we have with TCA. And I applaud District 20 for having such a great relationship with TCA. And I applaud TCA for doing such a great work. Thank you.
Our goal is not to cause District 20 problems.
Thank you. Parent Academy sessions for 23-24, Superintendent Haber.
Yes, could we have Dr. Susan Field, Assistant Superintendent, come up?
No, go ahead, Julie, you can go up. Good evening, board. I am pleased to introduce Julie Hendrickson. Many of you probably know her from all of our parent academies. She is our health and wellness specialist in learning services, and she works very closely with Maureen Lang, who is not here this evening, and she's going to provide you with some information about parent academies this year.
Good evening. Like Dr. Field said, I also want to acknowledge all the credit and all the work that Mrs. Maureen Lang does along with these for the parent academies. So our goals and outcomes for our parent academies every year is this year we're doing a lot of work to increase the number of participants and viewers. And to our board, I know we see that a lot of you are attending our parent academy, so thank you for that. This year we've done a lot of advertising campaigns, and so some of you may have seen that on social media. You're probably getting the emails through communications from either staff portals or your parent emails as well. We are continuing to grow our partnership with our community agencies. We have a lot of community presenters. We have a great partnership with Children's Hospital that presents at a lot of our parent academies, as long as the experts that we use and our own D20 staff as well that do presentations. We are constantly reviewing recommendations for our parent academies and looking at how we can grow these better. We do a lot of focus on student wellness. We want to provide a resource for parents. And we also really want to invite staff and students to attend as well. Okay. So how can you attend? You can attend in person. Those are here at the D20 building, as well as you can attend online. We are also recording the D20 Parent Academies, and so you can access those through the Parent Academy link online. Those are usually posted about 2 weeks after our Parent Academies. Staff can receive credit for attending our Parent Academies, which helps with their professional learning. Most of these are from 6 to 7 at night. No registration is required for most of them. There are a few that we do require registration as well. And we also provide this in 7 different languages to our parents. So some handouts were provided to you ahead of time tonight to our Board of Education. And so that shows our attendance from this year. It also shows our attendance from last year, as well as all the presentations that we've been doing, the titles for this year, and our current Parent Academy schedule. And so you will see some of our attendance from this year. Our college and career has a pretty big attendance at theirs. Like I mentioned earlier in this presentation, we are doing a lot of work to grow our parent academies because these are great resources. I'm a parent of a couple of D20 students, and I always learn so much by attending these as well, since Mrs. Lang and I are present at all of them. We also do Ask a Therapist, which is done by some of our family resource centers, or parents can come in and ask a therapist anything, as well as our dyslexia parent academies, our SPED parent academies, and then, as I previously mentioned, our college and career parent academies as well. So here's our attendance from last year. So you can see that as well. Once again, that's part of the handouts that are provided to our board. If you want to look at that, and if you have any ideas for how we can grow these, we would love to hear them, because it is such a great opportunity that we would like to see some more parent involvement as well as staff. So at the end of every parent academy, a link is sent with a survey. So you can see that we have very high evaluations. People that do attend their parent academies give us great feedback on them. We get great reports from them, as well as all of our other parent academies that we do. And so the ones that we are doing a pretty good job of. Okay. So here are some feature ideas. This is what, at the end of the surveys as well, that we give to parents, they can provide us with feature ideas. So this is where we kind of look at every spring when we start planning our parent academies for next year. And so just a few of those. More classes on dyslexia was mentioned by a few parents. What can parents do to help their students become better learners? Continue to have workshops on mental health and SEL learning, and explain the college process for parents. And so even though College and Career does a lot of parent academies around this, this has still been a hot topic that parents really want more help on, especially as FAFSA starts to change this year. And for those of you guys who have filled out FAFSA, it's quite overwhelming as a parent. I'm getting ready to do that right now with my senior. And so here are our participant comments that we received last year. And like I said, we get great feedback from these. And so one parent talked about they found it interesting that poor sleep impacts decision making, especially in teens. That was a very knowledgeable parent academy as a parent of 2 teens as well. Another one was I appreciate being able to ask questions that are specific to my child. A lot of times parents just want answers on how we can best support them as well. Okay. So any questions?
Ms. Cons.
Thank you so much, Julie, for doing this and for your and Maureen's continued work, because it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I know you guys, and you keep adding more and more sessions, which is amazing. So thank you guys. I give Maureen lots of ideas because they pop into my mind as a parent. But I was thinking specifically after reading the slideshow the other night, was now that Superintendent Haber is embarking on our Portrait of a Graduate, that we could really gear some of the parent academies towards the findings that we've gathered from what students need and want, to help to assist parents, teach parents what to teach their kids that they're asking for. So I think, and coincidentally, as I look at the attendance numbers, some of the most highly attended ones are financial help, FAFSA, college stuff. And so I think that speaks to it might be a great avenue to branch out on. All of the topics are helping families, but maybe to capture a lot more, let's just listen to what we're finding with the Portrait of a Graduate work and see how we can gear parent academies.
I think that is a great idea.
Yeah.
I think that would be a high turnout by our parent community on the College and Career.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Knox.
Mr. Temby.
Julie, you talked about the promotion of this. Allison, I'd certainly recommend that these testimonials get out there as much as you can, where it just encourages people to get out where they maybe didn't know what to expect and it exceeded expectations, but testimonials are important. Having attended a few of these, not all, but some key things, they've been extremely helpful. As a parent of 5 kids, I wish I had this tool 15 years ago for some of these things, and particularly FAFSA and the college support. But there's so many topics here, and they resonate with somebody, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
thank you, Mr. Tempe. And thank you for your continued support and coming to them. And also we did Youth Mental Health First Aid a couple of Saturdays ago, and the parents that came, I think I spent about 20 minutes after and then it was an 8 to 4 class of just parents that kept giving us comments and kept saying, I finally have tools in my toolbox, and thank you for providing this class for free and for our parents. And so I agree with the comments. That's a great idea. Thank you, Mr. Timby.
Mr. Salt.
Thank you. So I saw that we have, what about 5 or 6 different languages these are available in?
7.
7?
Correct.
Do we track how those are utilized and which ones are actually being, do we have the metrics on that? Probably,
question.
I don't know if that's a Shelley question.
Oh, that's me question.
Oh.
So, yep. So, and that's because the website, right? So it's translatable. We could easily pull that. Like we just have to go into each one and pull and see what folks are accessing. I don't know off the top of my head, but it's something we could definitely see.
I was just curious. Your list of future ideas, are those coming from typically other internal stakeholders, people who come to the meetings, or where that list coming from?
That comes from at the end of every parent academy, Mrs. Lang and I, we send out a parent evaluation that's done at the student wellness parent academies. It's done at the college and career parent academies. It's done at the dyslexia parent academies and SPED. And so that's the feedback that we're getting directly from parents. And so it's there. It could be staff members too. It's anybody who's attending those sessions. So that is their ideas. And that's how Ms. Lang and I, when we come together in the spring and we work with our community partnerships, those are the topics that we look at very closely.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And then, as other people have said, it's such an incredible opportunity for parents. Actually, have spoken with other districts and a couple BOCES that have specifically mentioned Academy 20's Parent Academy and how they're modeling, how they outreach to parents to help do information instruction. So you guys are doing a great job, and it's making a ripple across the state. So kudos. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Salt. I appreciate that.
My only comment is, I know you said you want to have more attendees. I agree. I think the online has helped tremendously. And I'll tell you, 5-6 years ago, the attendance was abysmal. You'd get 4 and 5 parents, and now you're getting 30, 40, 50. I'd love to see a 0 behind that, to be sure, but y'all are doing much better. So I applaud you for getting more parents involved. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. LaValle.
I think I want to add a kudos. So one of the things too that's not reflected in there that's really important is these live online. So even though maybe only 45 people attended, you look at those metrics 3, 4, 5 months down the road, and you're going to see that number continually tick up. And that's the beauty of that online component. And so I think looking at night of metrics is one thing, but looking at year over year of just one session, you see that grow almost every single month. And so I think that's really something to mention. And also just another kudos. When I started here 7 years ago, I'll never forget the first Parent Academy that I was asked to promote was water safety. Not kidding. I was like, we're not the YMCA, water safety. And so learning services took the Parent Academies and they have completely transformed them. And in marketing world, it takes about 3 to 5 years to start to really see some traction when you introduce a new program. And they made it relevant. So the topics, they've made the topics relevant, and you're now at about year 3.5, 4 from really changing the topics, and we're starting to see that traction.
Thank you, Mrs. Cortez. I just want to add to, a lot of times when teachers or administrators or school counselors will call me, or even parents, about a question, like there's been times we've directed them back to the Parent Academies and they've actually followed up with me and said, I didn't even know that was there. I didn't know I could get staff credit. So we're doing a lot of work with promoting, but it has answered a lot of really teacher questions on, hey, how do I work with a student with this? Well, we actually did a Parent Academy on that and it was really great. So yeah, so thank you, Mrs. Cortez.
Ms. Cloninger.
I just wanted to say thank you as one of the board members who I think has gone to, maybe not this year's, but most of the Parent Academies. I've been one of those numbers, and I am grateful for that. It's not something that I have taken lightly. And now that I have a little bit more time on my hands, I'm going to be coming back to some of those because they are incredible. And I think that we have to really put our money where our mouth is and actually attend those, because it is a free resource to our families, and it is current, and it is, like all of you have said, things that are happening right now. So I just appreciate you and Maureen and the whole team to you bring in great speakers, and I'm just grateful to you. And I know that your work doesn't stop just there. It's your whole life. So I appreciate you.
Thank you, Mrs. Cloninger, and I appreciate all of your support and showing up at our Parent Academy. So thank you.
Mr. Salt.
Thank you. I was actually going to Ms. Cortez. With that library of back academies, I was going to call it episodes, but it's the wrong. Do we ever promote those? So like on National Mental Health Awareness Month, and push those out to try to bring additional attention to those academies?
Yeah. So really we use our social channels as a way to promote those after the fact. And there is a little bit of a lag because we do have to translate them, get them web accessible, but sometimes we'll come back to them 6, 7 months later. We have Superintendent Haber has seen this. We have an editorial calendar. We plan our stories. Like if you say, what are you pitching on May 9th, 2024? I can open it and say, we're pitching this. And so because we plan that far in advance, we go back to those resources as a way to circle back to them. So we do that. But could we do it more? Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jackson. Strategic planning update, Superintendent Haber.
Yes, would Dr. Jim Smith, Assistant Superintendent for Planning and Engagement, please come up.
All right, good evening, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to give an update about the strategic plan. Before we get started, though, I want to make sure to recognize the team of folks who really make this work. So if you've been working on the strategic plan, raise your hand or stand up so we can applaud you. Round of applause, please. Thank you. So this update really is about the first quarter, but just so you know, and I think we've talked about this before, every time we present something about the strategic plan, we start with our North Star, our global ends. This states that all students will have the knowledge, skills, and character necessary for a successful transition to the next level, whatever that might be. And so that is the guiding force behind the work that we do. And in fact, if you look at our rollout at this point, in 2021, we began with the rollout of the culture of belonging. And then in 2022, we had academic excellence we added, and then also valuing our greatest asset, our staff. And then in 2023, we were going to have just 2, but we got a little bit more ambitious and added 3. So we are looking at communication to build trust, looking at resource optimization, and then the third one, building community partnerships. So we're going to talk about all of those this evening. We talked earlier about, and you have in your packet, information about the targets, short-term and long-term, as well as the metrics behind those. And then tonight we're going to talk about the strategies to help us accomplish those long-term and short-term targets. So this visual here hopefully kind of captures the idea of the knowledge, skills, and character that we just talked about in the global ends, as well as the 6 strategic priorities that we'll talk about this evening that are rooted then in our value statements around education, relationships, and people. And you'll notice the arrows have, I guess, what do you call that? The head pointing both directions. So you can see that it's an inter relationship between all the different pieces, that it's not that one's higher than the other, but it's really all working together to create what we have here that we're working on as our strategic plan. So kind of where we are, we've launched all 6 priorities, as I've already said, but really this year focusing on getting very specific about those short-term and long-term goals and the metrics behind it, and then now talking about those strategies to help us make that a reality. So at this point, we are going to talk about those by each of the areas, and we have 6, and our leads for each of the areas are going to come up and share that information with you, starting with academic excellence with Dr. Field and Tacey Killingsworth.
Good evening. So as Jim said earlier, we did review with you the short term by like mid-year and long-term end of year goals and measures that we have. So real quickly, I'm going to talk about the literacy strategies that go along with our targets and measures. So we are always working on identifying learning gaps of students. We want to know and understand what each K-3 student needs instructionally every day in our classrooms. And our team works really hard with our schools, with our principals and our teachers to ensure we know exactly where students are performing. We continue just to bolster and boost that best first one instructional practices in our classrooms every day. We provide our teachers ongoing training, coaching, and support so that our students are getting what they need in instruction. We utilize effective MTSS and PLC processes. Both of those processes and structures are really key to ensuring that teachers are collaborating about students and that students are getting the intervention or the instruction that they need. This next bullet around providing teachers ongoing access strategy training. So we've received, our district has received a lot of training, a lot of our teachers around supporting students with disabilities that are in the classroom, the general ed classroom. And access strategies are specific to students with disabilities, but all students benefit from these strategies. And then we provide teacher staff trainings for modifications, accommodations, and specifically designed instruction on a regular basis. Questions on literacy? Okay, Tacey's going to do math.
Good evening. So we have utilized a variety of approaches to really ensure our target is on math, because as we know, that is an area we want to continue to grow in. So some of the things we've been doing this year is at the beginning of the year, we worked with all of our middle school and high school math teachers to really break down CMAS item analysis and PSAT, SAT data to talk about what is the level of rigor that's expected and how do we change our instruction to make sure that students can meet that level of rigor. And we're actually at Air Academy High School today, and they talked about how they've continued that work and specific strategies they're using ongoing from that. So that was really exciting to hear. We're doing a lot of math professional learning at our leveled principal meetings. This year we've created a walkthrough form that really is focused on effective instructional practices. And we're working with our principals to talk about how do you utilize that to support your teachers in knowing what effective instruction is and coaching around that. So that's been a great endeavor that we've done this year too. We also have continued our math strategic planning committee meetings. And our focus this year right now is really on vocabulary in math and how to teach it well
And so we're working with staff at all levels, elementary through high school, and we have teachers and interventionists and leaders all a part of that committee. And it's great that they're coming together, and we're eventually going to have a vertically articulated math vocabulary structure, but then also best practice on how to teach that vocabulary, because we know that is so key. And then we also have some math leads that come together 4 times a year. We're working with some consultants, Sarah Powell and Brad Witzel, around effective instructional practices. So Sarah has already come 1 time and trained our math leads on effective strategies for math. And then those math leads take it back to the building level, right? And work with their departments and their teachers around those practices. And we'll be doing a January speaker series with both Brad and Sarah. So it will be very targeted for the levels to attend as math teachers. So that's exciting. And then a big push this year has really been around our MTSS professional learning to really guide our teachers and leaders on tier 1 good instruction, but also what are tier 2 and 3 practices that they have in place in their buildings that will support the targeted needs of our students. We just had one this week on tier 2. It was great to see the collaboration and collegiality in the room, learning from each other and asking questions. Oh my gosh, what does that mean? What does that look like in action? So it's been great work all around. Any questions for math?
I'm back talking about special education goals. So one of our measures in academic excellence is to really track how students are progressing through their IEP goals. So when a student is on an individualized education plan, there are goals in the area that they need to improve. So this is an ongoing training we do year in and year out. We get a lot of new staff every year in the special education department in our schools and here in the building. And so we consistently provide training on how to write good IEP goals that are measurable and time bound. We also run staff training to identify and implement appropriate progress monitoring tools, because our students have goals, IEP goals, that are heavily around reading and math, and we have to ensure that the intervention that we have in place, or the specialized instruction that we have in place, is working. So each of our resource teachers in our schools continuously monitors how students are doing. And like I said earlier, we either adjust the goal or we rethink the strategy that we have in place for the intervention. We also have launched special education teacher coaching for specially, not specifically, specially designed instruction. So we actually have folks that go out from our building and our department here in the EAC that go out to buildings and help our teachers in the classrooms. And that runs across all of our programs, not just our students in resource, but our students that are in SSN, our students that are in AN. We have specialty teachers here that can go out and support teachers in the field. And then finally, we'll continue to conduct principal training. This is another really key piece, because an administrator, typically a principal or assistant principal, sits on every IEP team. And we want them to have the confidence and knowledge to ask the right questions about how their students are doing. Any questions?
All right, Mr. Smart would like an introduction. So Mr. Smart is coming to the podium. But I also want to point out how visually appealing this presentation is, and it's all due to Allison Cortez. Allison, thanks for putting that together. Dr. Smart.
I appreciate that. All right, let me click the little button here. Okay, so first of all, before I get into this, let me just say there is no like one thing, there is no magic bullet that fixes staff shortages. It's still a real thing, it's still nationwide. But our goal, number one, is to retain our staff that we have so that we don't have to try to hire as many each year. So that's why you'll see it says retention, but a lot of these things also apply to recruiting as well. So they kind of work a little bit in both ways. So the first thing we have up there is increase salaries and keep benefit costs as low as possible. And the reason we say it that way is because we don't want, if we have an increase in salary, but then we have an equal or more than increase in benefits, you really don't see any real increase. So the idea is to try to enhance the one while keeping the other as low as possible. And so that is still our focus. I don't know if you've followed the trend, but the last few years, especially teaching salaries in Colorado have jumped exponentially and in a more rapid rate than normal. And although we don't expect that to continue forever, it is probably a reality for at least a few more years. And our job is to keep pace with that. One is we have EL 2.7. This is we have to be in a certain range specific to our area, but also just to keep pace with cost of living adjustments as well. So that is a real thing for us. And then foster a positive working environment. We know that when people are happy and they enjoy their job, when they show up to work and they stay. So there's a lot of different ways we do that. Through HR, we really support the staff. We support the administrators at the school sites to help ensure that that's happening. But there's a lot of other things that we do as well to ensure that there's a positive working environment. And then that goes along with increased job satisfaction. And I'll talk a little bit more about this when I talk about feedback. But if we know what people really want that's going to help them feel like they're satisfied in their job, and sometimes that's different for different people. It might just be the people they work with. It might be that they have opportunities to grow and learn. It might be they have opportunities to move up and try different leadership positions. So all those things are factors that we look to ensure we have so that folks that are looking for different things within their job have opportunities throughout the district. Sorry, was that me? Okay. The next is professional learning. And this kind of goes hand in hand again. If we can help equip our staff to be better trained, better prepared, understand how to do their job better, that again just increases that one, job satisfaction and also confidence in what they do. So we meet with the PL department, professional learning department, once a month, HR does, and we talk about where things are at as far as professional learning, how HR can help support professional learning throughout the year, but also that idea of how do we ensure that what we're offering is relevant to staff and also meets the needs of as many staff as possible. And then the other thing is improving staff, new staff orientation. And that is something we constantly do every year. Matter of fact, I think in January, beginning of February, there's going to be a survey going out to our new staff that we hired this year to say, hey, how did we do? What are the things we can improve on? What are the things you liked? Because we know if we get them started on the right step, the beginning, they tend to do better and they tend to be more successful. And that also increases retention in that position. And then provide site and district leadership opportunities. Again, for folks that are looking to step into leadership roles, that doesn't necessarily mean they're moving up to an admin role, but maybe they want to be a leader at their site. They want to be on a team or a committee. And so providing that, because that makes people invested in the role that they have in the district and invested in the district as a whole. And then the last is staff feedback. Again, you know, me and my team can sit in a room and say, this is what people want, this is what people think is important, but we may not know everything. So, and so the idea is if we can get input and feedback from staff, we can really target what are the things that they're looking for, what are the things that are important to them to continue to make this a great place for people to work. And then maximize committee participation. One of the things is we have the think tank, which you might have heard of before, and it's that opportunity for staff from different levels, different job classes in our district to give us input. But also there's other committees that people can be a part of, whether that be at their site level, the district level. And again, we want them to know they have a voice in what goes on in the district. And so maximizing that opportunity is important. And then the other thing is if we do any kind of feedback loop, we have to follow up. You know, if we just give a survey and don't tell them what the results were, and then don't tell them what we're going to do, that doesn't make any sense. Plus, you start to diminish people's responses to those opportunities. So our goal is, once we get information, is to follow up and follow through with what we can. Any questions?
I have just mostly comments. When the strategic plan was being proposed, I said multiple times, and those of you probably remember, two things that I wanted to see on it. I want it short, so if you get a 30-page document, no one's going to use it or read it, and I want it measurable. And we're getting some measurables now, and I'm thrilled to see this. Thank you, Superintendent Haber. I know you were behind a lot of this, but you all participated as well. I'm not going to take any credit away from any of you. We were given, and I think this was a one of the read aheads. The public has this available to them. In my humble opinion, I just want to read a couple of these targets. Literacy. By January 2024, that's January, at least 74% of all third grade students will score at or above grade level. 50% of identified fourth grade cohort, which is the students that struggled in third grade, will have met end of year targets, and there's details like that. Math. By February 2024, students in grades K through 10 will score an average achievement percentile of 61 or above on winter map growth. Those are specific measurables I'm thrilled to see, and I thank you for doing that. I would love to see these published. I got to be careful because I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job, but these should be wherever the strategic plan is. These should be right there because that's what we're doing to make sure that we are meeting a strategic plan. In my humble opinion, yeah. Ms.
Mr.
Cortez?
LaValle, you were like, we are.
Okay.
Yeah. So we actually got a couple questions from the community saying, when can I find out what's going on? And we said, we are giving a presentation to the board. After the board gets this presentation, we will be putting these exact documents on the website.
I love it. I love it. Board, any other comments? Thank you. Appreciate it. You know what? I had a couple other things I was going to say. You're still going. Good. Keep going.
We're still, we have 6, remember?
Yep, I know.
Okay.
I got a couple.
This is an awesome picture, Allison. What school is this one from?
This is Challenger. Is this Challenger? Or it's Mountain View Ridge.
Yeah, it's a stunning
Ridge.
picture.
Mountain Ridge. I was like Mountain View Ridge.
Okay, good.
Mountain View Ridge.
Good job. Okay, so I'm going to share real quickly for Maureen on the culture of belonging. So as we talked earlier about some of our short-term and long-term goals and our measures, this one's around extracurricular opportunity and increasing it to 85% of students participating. And you can see here we want to provide a variety of opportunities based on student need. We need to work on documenting participation in CHASA sponsored activities. We are in the process of developing a data collection tool to track non-CHASA activities. And that's kind of like what we talk about with E1.1. We want to track annual activity participation rates, and we want to partner with HR and finance to determine supervision needs, because anything after school always requires a licensed staff member. Then on increased attendance, we want to track those at risk of being chronically absent. We have an at-risk visualization tool that we use that monitors attendance that our schools have at their fingertips. When I was at Air Academy today, we had one of our counselors there share how they monitor students that are at risk, and attendance is one of those factors. So we have that tool in place. We want to provide school level interventions, study the cause and effects of absences, implement school level strategies for attendance and positive reinforcement, also include subgroup analysis and data collection. We want to dig deeper into what our data says and look at subgroup populations. And then the other one was wellness standards, our social emotional wellness standards. So CAS stands for the Colorado Academic Standards. And remember, I told you the best way to do it is just to Google them. But we want to align CAS, Ruler, and then SOS as sources of strength. Social and emotional learning integrated as Tier 1 support in MTSS in the NTSS model, and then create a measurement for the implementation of our Colorado academic standards. Any questions? Okay, and then character traits.
Susan, I just
Yes.
wanted to say really quick that I appreciate, I've been upfront over the last few years about not quite believing belonging should be the #1 priority when we're an educational institution. I thought academic excellence should be #1, but I love the specifics that have come about with this belonging priority. I mean, I love what we're focusing on, getting everyone more involved and increased attendance. So thank you for focusing on that stuff.
Okay, so I have 2 more. The other one was character traits. So we want to develop consistent practice to ensure high participation in the character survey. So all of you over here on my left, if you haven't taken have you taken it? Okay, character survey closes tomorrow at 4 or whenever, right, Jim? Okay. Collect qualitative data about the 10 character traits for Board N's annual report. So that report is in the spring or February-ish. And we want to collect some additional qualitative data from schools that would be good to share with you all. Training on intersection of character and social and emotional learning. We're working on that and we're in the beginning phases of that. And then create a measurement of student character. And that's going to be a challenge, but we're going to try to figure it out. And then the last one is the one around action steps that are in goals, which I talked about. That's in Randa or in Workday. And we want to ensure that staff members engage in their belonging goal and their action steps specifically that they've determined for themselves. And we will provide mid-year updates on belonging goals as we're getting ready to start, believe it or not, mid-year evaluations with teachers and administrators, and they give us progress on their goals. And then we'll track those belonging goals and completion rates. Anybody else have questions?
Good evening. Just to reiterate some of the information that I shared during the board work session earlier this evening, for school resource allocation and resource optimization, one of those pieces that was important is considering the various needs of schools in terms of their discretionary budgets and some of the unique characteristics, for example, age of building, that may influence the resources that a school might need more or less of compared to others. So a school resource allocation committee was convened last February. We just had our last meeting in October. We collected feedback from stakeholders during the month of October, from principals to DAC to all of our different stakeholder groups. And the committee did a great job putting together a recommendation report that was actually just given to Superintendent Haber this week. And the biggest thing with this concept is really going to be what resources are available to be able to implement some of these strategies that the committee came up with. So we will certainly meet our target or our goal in terms of having these particular factors outlined and quantified in our budget process and planning. But whether or not we have money to fund them for next year, we just don't know the answer yet. But we've come a long way now in having some factors and formulas that are meaningful to our patrons and to that committee that we now can present to the superintendent for consideration. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you. Hello, hello. So I am here to talk about communication and trust. And every time we talk about this, I always give my little disclaimer. It's not communication in isolation. It's not trust in isolation. It's really what we're talking about are the things that we're going to do this year to determine our communication efforts building trust or diminishing trust. Are we putting those coins in the piggy bank or are we taking them out of the trust piggy bank? So as you look at this slide, I think the first thing to do is look at investigate communication effectiveness. So that's a really big bucket. And I think we should explain it a little bit. So what does that really mean? So when we investigate communication effectiveness, what we're really going to be looking at this year is the many vehicles that we use to communicate and the way that we're communicating. So I just want to read off a little list. These, we're going to be pulling metrics on these in real time throughout the year. Number one, 20net, our internal communication vehicle. Number two, ASD20.org. That includes our district website and all 40 school websites. We will be looking at our what we call evergreen content, the content that rarely changes, and we'll also be looking at our dynamic content, which is our announcements, which is our feature stories, and which is our alerts. So we'll be measuring those. Our 20 alert system. Our 20 alert system is the way that we send emails. It's the text messages that we send, and in certain situations, it's the phone calls that folks receive from the district and the schools. We will be looking at our internal weekly e-newsletter. Every week we send that. As soon as we send it, we start measuring how many people are reading those articles, how long are they spending on those pages. We do the exact same thing with our external monthly newsletter, Our Schools. We do the same thing. What are they reading? What's relevant to them? What are they skimming over? Where are we losing them? We also will be measuring our social media channels. So we have active Facebook, active Instagram, active X, which is formerly Twitter, and YouTube. So to your point about all those parent academies. So that's another area. And then on top of that, and I'll talk about this in a little bit, is our crisis communications and our media relations and all of our presentations and all of our speeches that we do. So when I say we're investigating their effectiveness, what that really means is establishing a baseline. To this point in time, we don't have baseline metrics around many of what I just rattled off to you. So before we can establish those quantitative and qualitative long-term goals, we need to establish the baseline of where we are and how those systems are working. So that's the first big one. The second one I talked about actually at the last board meeting, so I'm not going to go into detail there, but we are exploring a new mass communication because it is one of the areas that we have a great deal of feedback on from this year. Overwhelmingly, our staff and our family said it's not working for us. We are overwhelmed. We need something different. So we are actively investigating a way to fix that and a new system to adopt. Track and analyze media mentions. This is something that we do all of the time, but really putting some more parameters around it this year. So for the last 4.5 years, Academy District 20 has been in the local media every single week at a minimum of about 15 mentions. At our highest, we're at about 340 mentions a week. So that's 4.5 years of weekly media. So that's great, right? But how many stories were positive? How many were neutral? How many were completely negative? And what does that do to trust? So that's what we also started tracking this year. We are looking at positive, negative, and what were those stories about and what was neutral. So that's another thing that's on the docket for this year. The next two are really around trust and figuring out where are we already administering surveys and focus groups that we could be sliding in questions around trust and are our communication vehicles supporting or diminishing that trust. So that's a pretty easy one, just looking at those existing systems. And then also auditing our communication systems to see are they in alignment with our best practices that exist out there around how to really make sure you're a high trust organization through your communication efforts. So we really want to note those and then measure ourselves against them. Any questions? That's this year. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Allison. And our final area here is our community partnerships. And I'm going to ask Dr. Jiman Pariso to come to the podium and speak a little bit about the work that we're doing in that area.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Last but not least, the first one that we are working on is really to develop district CT advisories, career technical education in specific industry clusters. So in fact, tomorrow morning, we have our second iteration of our advisories. We have them in the following areas: engineering and drafting design, business marketing and finance. We have computer science, cybersecurity, programming, web design. Then we have multimedia and theater technology, biomedical and health sciences, and then family, consumer science, and education. And then we have two regional advisories that we partner with in construction with the Home Builders Association and the El Paso County Contractors Association. And then we also have a regional advisory for our auto technology. We are looking as we grow programs and we specialize in additional programs such as aviation or even culinary, we'll create specific advisories for those groups. So we've been spending a lot of time this year over summer and this fall in reaching out to industry, going on industry tours, meeting with them, arranging meetings so we could figure out ways to collaborate. Because the next area is develop a work-based learning system and develop opportunities for secondary students. We want to bring industry into classrooms. We want to bring the classrooms out to industry as much as humanly possible. That's not possible without strong advisories and strong partnerships with industry to be able to do that. And so in essence, if you look at a lot of research and literature out there at the college level, most college students that are able to be successful and competitive are ones that are connected with industry through their college experience. They don't wait till they graduate and then go, oh, now what? But they actually do an internship in college. And there's a lot of research around that also at the high school level. Obviously, a high school internship is different. It's not the same as an adult, but those experiences transform students. Personally, my son served an internship, and it transformed what he wanted to do and what he wanted to pursue in college. And now he already knows how to navigate that system a little bit. So when he does go to college, he'll continue with that process and he'll be better for it. The next is to create a metric on community partnerships. So we're looking beyond just career technical education and work-based learning, but also how we could develop partnerships throughout our district that could support multiple programs, whether it's athletics, co or extracurricular activities, resources, and really try to do everything we can to develop different systems, whether they're advisories or committees or councils or different things that we could partner with people out in the community to help support our school systems and make them stronger. We want to develop a district-wide communications and marketing plan, just like what Ms. Cortez was talking about, particularly around college career planning, CTE, concurrent dual enrollment, and work-based learning in particular. We are really looking at our systems, particularly with ICAP, and how we could transform that into something that's more meaningful. We're really looking at how we need to do better in the middle school grades so parents and students know exactly what their options are for that high school experience and what kind of programs are available to them, how to access them. So we're looking at really transforming that and being more involved at the district level in all those capacities. And then support the development of career academies throughout district high schools. I'll be doing a board presentation in January that I'll be talking more in depth on career academies, but it's really transformational where you take a career cluster of interest of a student and you interconnect the academic work and bring relevancy to it by applying it to the career technical education aspect of it and kind of merge or link them together and then infuse work-based learning throughout their experience in high school. And we'll talk more about that, but that's definitely a strategy we're utilizing right now. It's gonna be awesome. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Pariseau. And as you were talking about, I think January 4th, we also are talking about tracking graduates, so that might be a good combined thing we can talk about. So anyway, we'll talk more about that later. All right, at this point, any questions from any of our groups?
Thank you, Dr. Smith,
All right, thank
for the
you.
update. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Monthly financial report through October 2023, Superintendent Haberer.
Yes, would Becky Allen, Chief Financial Officer, come to the podium, please?
Sorry, I've got a visual aid this evening, so I just need to set that up. But thank you so much.
Is that a tomato pie?
I wish it was a tomato pie, but around December 27th, I'll be eating a tomato pie at Palermo's. Whenever I go there, I ask for the owner, and he says, the lady from Colorado. He always remembers, and I buy the place out while we're there. So thank you for bringing that up. But this evening, hard to believe, we're already a third of the way through the fiscal year. So this is the financial report as of the end of October. And what you'll notice looking at letter A in the blue box, we've collected about 20.8% of our revenue, which is a little bit higher than this point last year. It's also shown visually as you are used to seeing on graph number 1. And if we go ahead and look at our expenses, you can see that we're at about 32.3% of our expenses. And what's interesting is we're 33.3% through the way of the year. So very aligned with expenses. And I'm going to come back to that point in just a moment. What we also see is so far as of the end of October, our resources exceed our expenses by about $23.2 million. And now I am showing graph 6. Typically, I don't have this in our report, although it's interesting because it's come up the last 2 months or the last 2 presentations. And why it's come up is you can see that green line there is starting to ride underneath the red. And the red represents last year. The blue at the bottom represents a rolling 3-year average. So what we see is our cash flow, which is available cash that we have on hand. On this particular graph, we're still well above the rolling 3-year average, but we are falling below what we saw last year. So we had that first V, that first fall that happened during the summer, and that was because some special education funding that we typically received in July, it didn't come until August. So we kept going, and then we see a little bit of a gap again between this year and last year due to food service. Food service now is free for all students, yet we still get money from the state to pay our vendor. Well, we're not collecting the lunch fees from families like we used to. And we end up having to pay Sodexo before we get some money from the state. So it's kind of in arrears. So that's causing it. But there's more to it than that. And where, as we started to analyze the cash flow for the remainder of the year, I realized, and my team realized, that really the most impactful factor goes back to our buckets. So what I want to show is a couple of things to keep in mind. So remember just a moment ago, I talked about how our expenses are almost at 33.3. They're very linear. They follow about a very typical amount that's spaced out per month throughout the year. Revenue doesn't work that way. It has a lot of spikes and jumps. And one of the big spikes that we have, you can see on the chart in front of you, is in March. In February, we start to collect a little bit of our local property tax revenue, but it really jumps in March. But let's think about what's happened. So if we look at this jar, this represents, let's say, last year. Remember, we've got state share and we've got the District 20 share in the local property taxes. The orange part of the money is what starts to come in July, August, September. We have to wait until February and then especially in March for the blue dollars to come in. But what has happened this year, the state knows our assessed valuation is going to go up. So the money that we get, July, nice spaced out, July, August, that part has shrunk. And the amount of money that we don't get until February, March, April, that part has grown. So we have more delayed revenue than we have in the past. And you can see that on the chart that I placed. We did some modeling. Now this is projections. It's got actuals through the end of October, but it's projections beyond that point. And what I want you to notice is on line 2 and on line 5, you see property tax and MLO revenue. And when you look at those lines, look how they have 0 all the way until you see those blues. That's when we start to collect the money. So a greater portion of our revenue is delayed than it has in the past. Now, what you can see is we still have a healthy available cash amount. And in fact, I put a star at the bottom at March, and you can see I mocked this up. This is not actual, but a mocked up graph shows you that you start to see our available cash start to break away and take the lead, but not until March. And you can see that we're still able to meet our obligations this year, but it is simply that the revenue, more revenue is delayed. If we were to have increased big significant changes in assessed valuation, I think we would continue to see this. I also think that what we see in that green line up there, again, it's just a projection, but is really going to create a new baseline for us that we'll start to grow into over time. And again, if there's a huge, increase, we might see again that then setting a new baseline at that time. Are there any questions for me?
Thank you, Ms. Allen. That explains it perfectly, actually. I was wondering that, and that perfect answer. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Ms. Cortez, how many people have signed up to speak during public comments section 1?
So during the first section, there's 18, but I feel like many of them may have left when we tabled the sports discussion.
Yeah,
So
14 were hockey and lacrosse. And like I said earlier, if they're here and they want to speak, by all rights, you can and will speak, but I suspect most of those will not.
I think
Okay.
I'll still announce them and we'll just see.
Okay, the board welcomes the comments of our community members. Speakers must sign up prior to 1 p.m. via an online form, and they must limit their remarks to 2 minutes or less. In deference to ASD 20 students will be allowed to speak first during the first public comment section, which is the case tonight. Following any students, speakers who wish to comment on an agenda item will be called in order of their sign up. We also ask speakers to address the board and not others in the room. All speakers will be notified of the remaining time via the mounted monitors behind the dais. When the time is ended, the microphone will turn off. Supplemental written materials can be given to the security guards, and they will be delivered to the board secretary. Profanity or any disrespectful behavior will not be tolerated. We greatly value all comments from the public. However, the board will not respond this evening.
So first we have Louis LaRue. Okay. Then we have John Thien. No. Jenny Bradshaw. Derek Frank. Aaron Stevens.
Our strategic plan is working. It's giving structure to the goals set forth by the architects towards creating an academic community which reflects our mission, vision, and values. One of the main threads which runs through the vision and value is what we as a district believe that relationships matter and that we provide personal learning opportunities accessible to all students, preparing them to thrive in an ever-changing world. I am up here today asking those of you remaining on the board to please remember that you are here to support the superintendent who must value and support all 26,600 students and the thousands of staff in the district. Our world is changing, and many of these students and staff do not look like you, think like you, or believe what you believe. They have different life experiences, different lifestyles, and value public education and all that it entails. To lose sight of this means to abandon the strategic plan and our mission, vision, and values. Don't become the people known for undermining the excellence that this district has become known for because of its people and priorities. I want to thank Heather and Will for always having these things in mind. You have served this district for years on various committees, in classrooms, as a part of your own children's education, and now on the school board. Throughout this time, the district has been accredited with distinction before and during a pandemic and beyond. You have received love and thanks from untold numbers of students, parents, and teachers. You have led with dignity and strength, often in the face of adversity. You should both leave here knowing that you are leaving the district better for having had you in those seats. You embody what it means to care for and represent all children and recognize that educating the whole child is where academic excellence lives. And to you specifically, Heather, there are truly no words to adequately express my gratitude to you for the time and energy you have put into making our kids feel special and accepted. You have gone above and beyond what is expected. Your presence at every event and support of all kids, from athletes to theater kids, to school leaders to band kids, to kids with special needs to military kids, to those struggling to find their way, and to those who firmly know who they are. Your efforts know no bounds. I know that
Going to go through the next couple of names quickly because I feel like they're probably not here. George Thompson, Gina Oliver, Lane Newton, Heather Sonnenberg, Jonathan Null, Dave Oakbillor, and then Catherine Chukas. Catherine, yep.
I don't know how to stop that noise, sorry. Does anybody know how to stop it? Or you don't hear it? Okay, it'll just go away. My name is Catherine Chukas. I live in the district. I'm an Air Academy parent, the SAC parent chair. My Westside Animal Update this week is about goats, run-of-the-mill farm goats. 42 of them showed up in my neighbor's yard yesterday to trim the trees, and it seems like it's an interesting idea. The reason I bring up the West Side so often is because it's very different than other parts of the district, and I think it deserves some airtime and board members' mental space as they make decisions. Mental space, airtime. Today I timed that the board spent 3 minutes asking questions or giving any sort of input about agenda item 9E. And the board spent 10 minutes on 9B about the charter school. But it seems to me that mind space and airtime should be proportional. You should limit yourself 16% of your time to charter schools, or maybe even 12% to TCA based upon its relative enrollment. It's disingenuous to the hundreds of thousands of adults who are taxpayers in the districts and the parents of the 26,000 students who may or may not be taxpayers to be focused on something that is a longstanding pet issue for some of you. The strategy development process was strong. The strategy is strong. There's no reason not to give it the attention it deserves. The metrics that you were shown today at the working sessions have been part of the conversations we've been having for at least 4 weeks at Parent Sounding Board. They've been around for a long time too. 4 years ago in 2019, when I voted in the school board election, there were 3 candidates, and I didn't know any of you personally, never met any of you. I was a new middle school parent, just grateful to no longer have PTO board responsibilities at the elementary school. Based upon the information I had, I know I made the right choice in who I voted for. What a wild 4 years for both of you. You've led with strength and grace. Thank you very much.
I'm going to go quickly again. Jeanette Lara.
Oh, Jeanette's here. Yay.
Okay.
Yes. Let's take a pause and try to fix the mic. Sure. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Let's see if I can fix it.
Hello. Okay, first off, thank you to the board just for your commitment to our community and for being here, for everyone in the room really for being here, and for dismissing the hockey program from the agenda. But I did stay. I was interested in the process. I wanted to see how it is. And what I came here to say is last night, your 2 presenters really learned how as a community we can all come together. And I heard a lot about community tonight. But specifically the hockey community really has a deep, unique bond. I don't know if it's the cold early mornings before practice begins, you know, whether it's we're all bundled under the shared blankets in the ice rink freezing, but really the first year my son became a organized hockey, you know, player, one of his teammates became very ill, really terrifyingly sick. And I witnessed that hockey family come together to support them. And that's what you guys witnessed last night. And that's how we all bond together. And now there's kind of a new topic that came up. And I really did also hear that you guys have concerns over safety and experience and the success rate. And so if there are those concerns, I do just want to encourage you guys to strive to let's do better for our kids then. What can we do to improve the hockey program, the lacrosse program, without diminishing what it is? And so really, instead of breaking apart these 4 teams, we should be coming together to find more solutions on how to build these students up, how to build the programs up, how to support them and create better opportunities for growth, purpose, passion, and really for each other. High school sports offer far beyond what their ice time will show, and we should be striving to make these programs more inclusive, more accessible, and more affordable for all, because let's be honest, club hockey is not cheap. And I really just want to encourage you all to engage with the community, engage with this bigger all of us, like Colorado Springs, the other hockey programs, and all
Sorry,
of
your
that.
time's up.
Sorry.
So next we have Kent McElhaney, not here, and then Angie Burns, and then Tim Hoffman. Nope. Yes. Oh, okay.
What's up, y'all? I never would have guessed almost 5 years ago when a stranger introduced herself to me in Starbucks as Heather that I would come to be super grateful for her presence and her input into the shaping of my daughter's education. Experience. And more recently, I've had the same realization about Mr. Temby. But this bonfire I'm watching us prep for continues to get fed with the kindling of hatred and the soft, flammable matter of divisiveness and arrogant supremacy. Know this, when you strike that match on November 30th, it will burn. But to y'all too, I say this, okay? Here's the two people who fought for the people, who couldn't be bought by dark money or steeples, who wouldn't succumb to the cultural evil, who tried to bring calmness amidst the upheaval. Two who spoke calmly and kindly with reason, tried to show love in a dark, hate-filled season. Two who used logic and critical thought, and rational mindsets when battles they fought. And speaking of battles and campaigns of smear, if we're here for the kids, why on earth is that here? See, some of your cohorts will claim they're for this, but they're really for that, and their hearts are amiss. Now, these two stayed true, so that me and you could entrust them our kids and believe what they'd do. No ulterior motives, no unknown bag of tricks, no jump starts to careers built on whack politics, no buying of votes, no party line pander, no libel, no defamation, no slander, no divisive hate speech, no inciting of violence, no dumb banning of books, no attempts to just silence the truth that is clear if you just sit and listen. It's a truth that this board is soon to be missing, so you best to get ready for some dark, stormy weather as we say thank you to Will and to Heather. There's no right way to do wrong things. There's no right way to do wrong things. And that's a lesson I'm afraid we're doomed to find out sooner than later. Thank you guys. Go home, wash off the nasty. Stand proud for what you guys have done. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Next is Tony Serafino and Anna Sater. And that's the end of the first section of public comment.
Okay, now we're at decision items. We need a motion to approve resolution 332-23, acceptance of the audit report for fiscal year 22-23.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, please, Superintendent Haber.
Yes, and Becky Allen, Chief Financial Officer.
Good evening again. As you know, Colorado state law requires the district to have an annual independent audit, and it takes a while. Our fiscal year last year, the 22-23 fiscal year, ended on June 30th, and we are just finalizing the audit now. So it is my honor to introduce Sam Helwedge, and he is a principal, not of a school, but he is a principal at Clifton Larson Allen, and the Allen has no relation to me. Okay, they're A-L-L-E-N, I'm A-L-L-A-N. And so I'd like to welcome Sam to the podium, and he is going to share with you some information about the external auditor's opinion.
Thank you, Becky. Good evening. I'll be brief. We met with members of management as well as members of the audit committee earlier today to go over the results of the audit. Like Becky said, this was a long process starting back in May with our initial entrance meeting, how the year was going to go in our timeline. So great to culminate here with the results. And with that, on the annual comprehensive financial report, this big document, I want to point to just the financial section, and the first page of that is the independent auditor's report. So they changed it up a couple years ago, but the opinion of those financial statements in our report is straight off the bat. And what that says is that the financial statements herein are presented fairly in all material respects in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the U.S. So that's as straightforward as it gets. It's the speak that we are required to under the audit standards. But if we could put anything in there color-wise, it would say, great job, gold star, you know, you did everything that you had to get these in a great position. I also want to take a step back and say for the first time in a few years, we were able to issue the financial audit as well as our opinion over the compliance section of the single audit in the same time. So the last few years, there's been impacts due to COVID funding as well as other instances that have occurred where we've had to have a split issuance. So it's a great effort all around to get this done at the exact same time and earlier than we have in the last several years. So wanted to pause there and just open it up for any questions at this time.
This is one of those things you want to be boring and straightforward, and it was. Sam, I want to thank you, Miss Allen, and Kathy, your whole team. You did a great job. What's the term again that we had? No
major issues. It was a clean audit opinion.
Yeah, clean. Yeah, yeah. I wanted him to say we're doing awesome, but that's not what auditors say. And so I understand, but I'll say it. I think we're doing awesome as far as accountability and transparency to our community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it.
I just want to thank Sam. You know, we get to work with Sam and his team for months, and during that process, we always learn. And, you know, we learn new things about different statements coming out. It's always a pleasure to work with you. And please, if you could just allow me, Kathy Watts, Brian Cortez, I mean, what Kathy, her leadership
Brian
with
too.
this, her knowledge, Brian, Marianne, Jared, the whole team, Jessica, Tony, Martina, they are outstanding. Our bookkeepers at the central office, our bookkeepers in the school. It is a team effort, and they are simply amazing. And I can't be more proud. And I want to just truly say every day they look at these dollars. I've said this before. They treasure the dollars. They know that they are stewards of the taxpayers' dollars, and they take that with such heart. They have such integrity in what they do, not only at the central office, but in each one of our schools and departments. So thank you for letting me just honor them.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cloninger?
Aye.
Mrs. Cons?
Aye.
Mr. LaValle?
Aye.
Mr. Salt?
Aye.
Mr. Temby?
Aye.
Ms. Cortez, how many people have signed up to speak during public comment section 2?
In section 2, we have 9 individuals signed up.
During this portion of public comment, speakers who are speaking on non-agenda topics, general public comment, will be called to speak in order of their sign-up. If a speaker does not indicate the topic on which they intend to speak, then they will follow in order of their sign-up time. Those speakers who have indicated a specific general topic on which they will be commenting. The second public comment, this comment will be limited to 60 minutes. I don't think we'll need that tonight.
Okay, our first public comment is from Michael Holloway.
Thank you, esteemed members of the board, for your service, for being here, and for listening. My name is Michael Holloway. I come before you not just as a concerned parent, but as a proud advocate for the future of our children and our students. My family includes 4 daughters spanning from 10th grade down to kindergarten, all in District 20, and they've journeyed through several D20 schools. However, Legacy Peak Elementary holds a special place in our hearts. It's a place where the quality of the staff truly shines, and it's where my 2 youngest currently find their educational home. Tonight, I stand as a voice representing my family and the voices of other passionate parents who fervently support the reinstatement of Principal Jonathan Johnson. Thank you for providing this forum to share a perspective which comes from a place of genuine care and conviction. Principal Johnson's leadership at Legacy Peak is nothing short of remarkable. He's not just a principal, he's a visionary dedicated to molding well-rounded individuals who are prepared to tackle the world beyond our school walls. Under Principal Johnson's guidance, Legacy Peak has embraced project-based learning and educational approach that doesn't just teach subjects, it cultivates lifelong skills. While PBL may lead to shorter-term test score variations, it consistently fosters what truly matters: higher college and career success rates, critical thinking skills, and resilience of our children that they need to thrive. We ask you to embrace a longer-term view and a broader perspective when assessing our children's success. Education isn't about preparing them just for tests, it's about preparing them for life. The decision to place Principal Johnson on administrative leave was met with deep concern and disappointment. His commitment, his extraordinary staff selection, and his unique connection with our students has created an environment where our children flourish academically, emotionally, and socially. Tonight, we respectfully request the school board reevaluates this decision and immediately reinstate Principal Johnson at LPE.
Our next speaker is Jackie Lesh.
Tonight, I wanted to take a moment to thank Heather and Will for their service to Academy School District 20. It is hard to find the words to capture the essence of your years of dedication and hard work. The contributions, leadership, and the legacy you leave behind have made a difference in the lives of so many. You both brought a special uniqueness to the board, from your extensive backgrounds, your exemplary work with the district, and your great personalities. Heather, you are the heart of our district. Your kindness shows in all you do. Your big heart has made so many students feel a sense of belonging and that someone truly cares for them. Will, your thoughtful, level-headed decisions and leadership allowed you to see all sides of a situation and be the voice of reason when so many others just wanted to cause division. What you both do matters. Who you are matters. And what you have done for this district has mattered. You have both stayed true to who you are, to your beliefs, and in your actions by always doing what you feel is best for our students and staff. You have both made it shown that you truly care about our children and have made a tremendous impact on their lives. You both have left very big shoes that no one will be able to fill. You have both made an impact on my life as well. I respect and admire you both, and I am so lucky to call both of you my friends. You have made me a better person by being such amazing role models, not only for myself, but for our community. I know you will both be still very involved and engaged in the next steps forward for our district. I am very happy to be by both of your sides and help in any way I can to continue to keep Academy School District 20 one of the top districts in our state. Thank you both so much. Hi, board. Thank you for giving me a minute to talk tonight. I'm Carrie Ann Bean, a teacher in the district and a mom of 2 high school students at Pine Creek. Tonight, I want to celebrate and express my immense gratitude for board members Heather Cloninger and Will Timby, since it's their last meeting. I want to use all the adjectives: remarkable, exceptional, outstanding, extraordinary, terrific, empathetic, dedicated, committed, and I could go on and on. But when we teach young writers in the classroom, we model how to show, don't tell in your writing. Instead of being generic, be specific. Give effective illustrations, elaborations, and examples. Are you prepared for the gushing? Here it goes. Heather, just last week when we were attending Pine Creek's hilarious and brilliant play, you sought out my son, hugged him, and said, "I heard some of the names they were calling you because you dyed your hair pink. I won't repeat them, but I love your hair and I'm proud of you for having the courage to be you." At the end of September, you came to my classroom with your personal Cricut machine and you let my high schoolers pick a font and a color and made decals of their names and all of the feelings word from our class charter. We decorated our room, they have ownership, and they made it a special place. My son says, "I want to thank Heather for coming to all the wrestling matches at Chinook Trail Middle School. He says she seriously comes to all the activities and supports us relentlessly." Yes, he used that big word, but he doesn't know how to spell it. And my daughter sent me this text about Heather. Watch, I'm so bad at using my phone. But hold on. Okay, she said, "Every time I see Heather, she gives me the biggest hug. She introduces herself to all the people surrounding me and graces them with her hugs too. She will talk to me about quite literally anything. One day, coming back from lunch, I stopped to talk to her outside the building and the bell rang and my principal told me I would get a lunch detention for being late. Heather
quick.
Will was a dream parent, knew his kids' friends, knew their grades, made sure they did their homework, talked with them about what was happening at school, attended all the games and concerts, volunteered on accountability committees, made sure teachers knew they were supported. Well, he was literally the overachiever parent, show off. He understood that not all students have parents that are capable of this, whether it be they were working multiple jobs, had non-traditional situations, whether they be homeless, special needs kiddos, or an abusive situation. Will recognized these students needed to be supported by our district. He has worked tirelessly on serving these students and families with steadfast leadership and a constant eye on closing the achievement gaps. His voice of reason and commitment is unparalleled. Academy District 20 is losing bright, shining, generous souls and beautiful humans, and the world could use a million more, just like the two of you.
I did make that one exception. If we could really keep to 2 minutes, though, I would appreciate it. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. But if we could keep it to 2 minutes, thank you.
Next is Jenny Rogers.
Hello, my name's Jenny Rogers. I'm a D20 parent of 4 kiddos. I wanted to take this opportunity to personally and publicly thank Heather Cloninger and Will Tempe for their years of service to our district, including their time as Board of Education members. I want to thank them for their time. I want to thank them for their energy. I want to thank them for their dedication, their integrity, and their passion. I want to thank them for always putting our students and families first. I want to thank them for all they have done because it was truly for the betterment of every single student and family in D20. I want to thank them for not having an agenda. I want to thank each of them for stepping up and being a Board of Education member strictly because they knew what an important role it was. They decided that they could make our district better by serving as a board member, and they were right. District 20 is a better place because of them and all that they have done for it. I know that their official roles are ending for now, but I also know that they aren't going anywhere. I look forward to seeing them around and know that they will continue to volunteer and contribute in ways to support our students and families. I will continue to support them in any endeavor that either one decides to take on. So thank you, Will, and thank you, Heather. You are the good in our world. You are positive forces in a world full of too much negative.
Next, we have Bernadette Guthrie.
Hello. Okay. My daughter was looking forward to attending this evening and delivering these comments that she worked hard on. But unfortunately, she had a panic attack when we walked in the room and she saw the child predator who traumatized her at the student forum last month. So she ended up needing to leave. So I will try to do her words justice. My name is Elizabeth Guthrie, and I come here today to express my gratitude for 2 incredible people, Heather Cloninger and Will Tempe, or as I like to sometimes call him, Uncle Will. As we say goodbye to them at their final board meeting, I wanted to share how Heather's dedication has inspired me and impacted my life in a major way. Heather isn't just a school board member. She's gone above and beyond for so many kids, myself included. Last year was very difficult for me. I was very sick and diagnosed with a rare illness. It impacted everything about my life, especially school. Heather spent so much time with me and gave me so much encouragement and tools so I could finish out the year. She was part of the team in place to ensure that I was supported, and it was so special to me after all of that when Heather was there at my 5th grade graduation, giving me my continuation certificate, since at one point I didn't know if I would even be able to attend. Heather's example of helping others has inspired me to become a peer leader for Sources of Strength. Her commitment to supporting kids like me to make us all feel heard and understood has made all the difference and has made the difference in so many lives. Even though Heather won't be on the board anymore, I know she will still be there to cheer us on. She's shown me the importance of showing up for others, and I'm determined to follow in her footsteps and to continue to support and advocate for my peers. Heather and Will Your legacy in our district is one of dedication, compassion, and support for us kids. While this may be your last board meeting, your impact will live on in our hearts and in the way we continue to support each other. Thank you for being incredible mentors.
Next, we have Heather Henneman. Oh, no, Heather. And then finally, we have Bree O'Neill.
My name is Bree O'Neill, and I am the mother of 3 children at Legacy Peak Elementary, where our principal has been gone for 60+ days. Despite living just out of bounds, I toured the school in a hard hat a little more than 6 years ago, and I've chose to put all 3 of my kids at Legacy Peak. JJ has been a staple since the hard hat days and has not only developed relationships with parents, but with kids and siblings. The reason that JJ has been absent is not of importance. The fact that the district has chosen not to acknowledge or communicate with parents or students in the 60+ days he's been gone, that is unprofessional and completely unacceptable. Last Friday, my son's 5th grade teacher was supposed to send an email to all parents letting us know she had given her notice and would not return after Thanksgiving break. Mrs. Thompson failed to appropriate the email, and instead, us parents found out by a follow-up email from the vice principal. Mrs. Thompson's last day was yesterday, middle of the week, days before break. The reason, since Legacy Peak's 2nd year, the teacher turnover has been 50% or more. That also is unacceptable. I showed up at the D20 office Monday afternoon asking to speak with the superintendent or someone in a like-minded position, only to find out that Ginger doesn't accept walk-ins. I was politely greeted by Buck, the security guard. And once again, I would like to point out that Legacy Peak was mentioned one time in an almost 4-hour span tonight, but you had no problem mentioning almost all the other district schools. Your bigoted view of our school is abhorrent, as it is your duty to be inclusive and supportive of all schools and all children in the district, and it's about time that you stepped up.
Okay, we're at the debrief. I want to just make a little mention of sort of what the next steps are. The next meeting that the Board of Education will have is a special meeting where the new directors are sworn in and the board officers are voted on. The challenge is that cannot occur until after the election has been certified. The certification is done by the county. We don't know when that's going to happen. I actually talked to the county person. I got the number from from Tina, and she said it won't happen until the 29th. We were hoping to do it Monday, but I don't see that happening. So I think what's going to happen is the district is going to have this meeting as soon as possible once the elections are certified. I believe they have to be certified by the 29th of November, but I don't know that it's going to occur, but I'm pretty certain that the district is going to try to make this happen as soon as possible. And I do have something I want to read. I'm an airline pilot. I don't ever talk about that because frankly, it's not relevant to my position on the board until now. This summer, I upgraded from wide-body co-pilot to wide-body captain. I've been with a major airline for 32 years, and I waited purposely to do that because of this position. I probably should have done it 3 or 4 years ago, but I didn't. But I have to retire in the summer of 2025, and I just couldn't wait any longer to upgrade, so I finally did that. I went from being a very senior first officer to a pretty junior captain, and seniority determines schedule. I thought I would be able to juggle my board responsibilities with my flying, but that has not been the case. During my training in May, I missed 2 graduations. The CASB fall area meeting this fall I missed. I was an hour late for another board meeting due to flying, but the one that really shocked me was the first meeting in October. I thought I could bid off and be off for the first and third Thursdays, but I was scheduled to fly that first meeting. And not only that, I had another trip butted up against it, so I had very little maneuverability. I talked to 3 or 4 other captains to try to trade my trip, and I was unsuccessful. I was going to miss the entire meeting. In fact, I wasn't even laying over, I was flying home. So I would have missed it. As it turns out, I was collapsed a lung and I've been grounded for a couple of months, but that's going to end. And that's the only reason I was here at this meeting in October. So I've come to realize that this is just not feasible with my current job, which is what puts food on the table. As a result, I am resigning effective 6 p.m. the day prior to the special meeting where new board members will be sworn in and board officers are selected. And it is simply because of just the inability to attend board meetings. I'm just not going to be able to do it. It has been an honor and a pleasure serving this great district. The employees, from superintendent to principal, teacher, bus driver, or custodian, have been so kind to me. I have always felt like we are pulling on the same end of the rope, and with the great staff. My charge to the new board is to always keep knowledge, skills, and character as your North Star. Always keep the precious children and their parents first in your decision making. I want to publicly thank my wife Nona, who's here, who has listened in on nearly all of the meetings in the past 2 years. I think if she had been in person during some of those public comments, I probably would have had to gavel her, because I think she would have come unglued with some of the comments that have happened, but she was remote. I want to thank Tina. You've just been amazing. Y'all don't realize how much, some of you do realize how much work she does. She's phenomenal. I consider us a team. I'll say, Tina, what do you think about this? And she'll offer suggestions. 90% of the time, they're wonderful. 10% of the time, I'll say, nah, let's do this. And she's good with it. But thank you, Tina. You've been just, you make me look good if I ever look good back here. Ginger, you've got this. That's all I'm going to say. We've talked. But you've got this. Aaron, Nicole, Amy, Derek, I can't wait to see the great things you will do for this district in the next 2 years. Thank you and God bless.
So, Mr. LaValle, we had touched base earlier, so I knew this was coming, and just want to thank you personally for your support for my transition. And when I was looking at this quote that leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality, I think that also demonstrates your leadership. And just know that we appreciate I appreciate, and I think I would speak for cabinet as well, appreciate your leadership in the years that you've put towards serving this community. And I was thinking about your full court press around academic achievement and data, and really using data to drive our instruction and what we do as a district. And I think you have a heart for our kids as well. So we would also like to give this to you as well as a momentum of our appreciation for your leadership.
Thank you. Superintendent Haber, do you have any clarifications or next steps?
No, not at this time.
By the way, the new board will appoint to fulfill the rest of my term. That's how that works. How they do it is up to the new board. Debrief, happy birthday to Shelley Kuzer on December 2nd. She's not, I don't see her, but happy birthday, Shelley. Tanya Thompson on December 5th. And Susan Field on December 11th. Was our business this evening focused on activities that promote and honor our mission statement, our belief statements, and our global end statement that reminds us that all students will have the knowledge, skills, and character necessary for a successful transition to the next level, and upon graduation will be fully prepared for success? We have 40 people attending. This meeting is adjourned.